time I close my
collaboration with ESPA, and some changes to vehicle camo netting. All this and more as we dive into the Update 36.2 patch report. First up, Miramar is getting a visit from the K-pop group ESPA. All across the Badlands, you'll find concert venues, decor, and other visuals based on the group. Many other maps have ESPA visuals, such as themed care packages and planes as well. There's also an emote stage on the starting island of every 8x8 map for you to perform some of their most iconic tracks, including their latest hit. Next up, vehicle camo netting is seeing a durability improvement and is being added to Rondo and Tago this update as well. The improved durability only applies to bullet damage, and there are still some conditions in which the netting is instantly destroyed, so check out the patch notes for full details. The clan system is also getting some love. There are new ways to show off your achievements, including a new weekly ranking page, along with new clan tag plates. Full details in the patch notes. There's also a new Survivor Pass. Regions with duo mode can now choose one-man duo in normal and ranked. And we've tackled some bugs, so be sure to check out the patch notes for details on everything. Update 36.2 is here, so park the car in a safe spot and get ready to rock out with Espa. We'll see you on the battlegrounds.
Have you ever imagined creating your own PUBG game mode? Well, now with UGC Alpha, that imagination becomes real. All Plus users can create UGC Alpha sessions. Getting started is simple. Just go to Custom Match, UGC Alpha tab, then create your own session or join a friend's. By default, only the host can edit the mode, but editing permission can be granted to participants through settings. With UGC Alpha, you can place props, build custom maps, and set your own game rules. Anyone can join and play, up to 100 players per session. Want a simple but challenging parkour mode? Or maybe a chaotic deathmatch? You make the rules. You can save your creations anytime, or load them up later to keep building, even if it's not your mode. If you find a fun session while playing, just hit Save As and keep a copy for yourself. Need a head start? Try one of the official sample modes provided in-game. In the next video, we'll dive into object placement, movement controls, and how to bring your map to life. You can use the standard WASD keys to walk around. Double-tap the spacebar to switch to flying mode. Tap C to descend and space again to go up. Hit B to enter build mode. Now you can start placing props and devices anywhere on the map. To open the full editor, press P to launch the Edit Manager. Here, you'll see all available props, from walls and stairs to full buildings. Click any object, then press 0 to 9 to assign it to a quick slot. You can now press that key to place the object instantly. Need to fine-tune? Use E and R to rotate or scale. Use F and G to adjust distance. Press X to lock to axes, and Y to ignore collision. Want to test gravity? Just hit T to toggle gravity on your object. You can also copy, delete, or multi-select with simple mouse clicks and hotkeys. Next up, we'll show you how to set the rules of your game. Rounds, respawns, teams, you control it all. Let's dive into the rules setting. Press P to open the Edit Manager, then switch to the Rule Set tab. Here, you can fully customize your game logic. Set the number of rounds. Choose a score limit or time limit to end each round. Define how many teams play, anywhere from 2 to 100. Set team size, 1 to 10 players per team. Enable or disable respawn, and set its cooldown timer. Add invincibility after respawn for smoother gameplay. By enabling fill test players, you can spawn dummy bots to test whether your custom mode is functioning properly. If you'd like to play a solo game instead of a team match, simply adjust the team count and team size settings in the rule setting menu. For example, if you want a 100-player free-for-all solo match, set team count to 100 and team size to 1. Next up, we'll introduce the devices. Let's dive into the device setting. Devices are the logic blocks of your custom mode. They make things spawn, trigger, score, teleport, explode, and way more. Let's start with the core 4. The following 4 devices are essential for creating a basic game mode. Player spawn device controls where players appear. Player event device reacts to kills, survival, or any player action. Score manager device gives or removes score based on events. Round event device resets scores at the start of a new round. There are a variety of devices you can use, like triggering a red zone or setting background music. Feel free to get creative and use them however you like to build a fun and exciting mode. Trigger is when a device sends a signal to another device to activate it. For example, if you configure an enemy kill event in the player event device and connect it to the score manager device via the trigger tab, the player's score will increase when they get a kill. On the other hand, action is when a device receives a signal from another device to activate itself. If you set the player event device as the action target of a change score in the score manager device, the change score will be triggered by the signal sent from the player event device. Coming up next, we'll build a sample mode from start to finish so you can see how it all fits together.
Welcome to the PUBG Players Tour. This year, we're introducing structured competitive play in third-person perspective mode for players of all ranks, levels, and ability. Here's how it works in EMEA and Americas. PUBG Players Tour competition is held in 2-week phases. Each week, you and your squad can compete in player scrims. Think of these as a great alternative to ranked play. Each day of scrims will feature a variety of maps, with defined team and lobby sizes to ensure a balanced best-of-3 rounds. Teams will earn points based on their performance, and daily leaderboards will track their progress. When the scrims are over, the top teams will qualify for the PUBG Players Tour Cups, where they will be joined by up to 10 invited teams, featuring some of the best players in the region. Players Cup leaderboards will track team performances across 2 days of play, with the top 8 squads progressing to the final round of competition. Players Masters are the pinnacle of the PUBG Players Tournament. 8 teams from each of the 2 cups will engage in fierce competition for a huge prize pool in each region across the PUBG Players Tour season. And for times when a Players Masters isn't scheduled, you can still get your PUBG Players Tour fix with Super Cups. These work just like Masters events, where again, 16 teams, 8 from each of the 2 previous Players Cups, compete for a share of the total cash prize pool. Welcome to the PUBG Players Tour. You know the game. Be a player.
Welcome everyone to the second day, the second half of this weekend's Players Cup here at the PUBG Players Tour. My name is Cameron Davis, joined by Gibson, freshly back from PNC, has the jacket to boot because of course he has to show that swag off. It's okay, we all get those moments, we'll let him have it. But Gibson, how are you doing? Welcome back.
Doing good to be back. Obviously filling in for Chunks tonight, so I'm glad to be back in the server, and you and I, we get to run it back after what seems like, what, 5-6 months?
It's been a while, but hey, don't even worry about us because it's all about the players here at the PUBG Players Tour. It's in the name. I might have just stolen that tagline from a different brand. Please don't sue. But let's quickly, briefly go over how this weekend is going to work, how it's worked so far. To get into this event, teams had played in 2 scrims during the week. You can join yourself, ! Register for this next week's upcoming scrims. But so you qualify to the Players Cups. These cups that we're playing this weekend and next weekend, again, ! Register to try and get into the next weekend's cup, will qualify for Masters number 3, which is important because, Gibson, as you know, that's how you get to Masters West. Well, don't worry about that now. We can go look into that later. The point is, though, these teams this weekend are playing for top 8 for qualifying into Masters 3. And because we are missing a couple of big name players, partially because of EWC, this is one of the easier lobbies, I will say, Gibson, to try and qualify.
Yeah, you get these opportunities every once in a while where some of the strongest teams really just aren't competing, so it opens the door for them, and honestly, that's what it's all about in the short form 4-match format. So good performance over this weekend, you qualify for Masters, the money increases significantly then.
Right. So, as Gibson said, it is a short form event. It's a best of 8 overall. It's 4 matches a day, 1 of each of the 4 matches that we play in competitive PUBG. No duplicates, no running it back. You get 1 chance, and then you got to wait a whole 24 hours, minus 35 minutes or so, till you get your next shot on that map. It adds some variety, and it, just keeps everyone guessing, keeps everyone on their toes.
It does. As we have a look at the leaderboard, Bestia obviously sitting in top spot, Mira in second, and Fury in third. I think that for me, the story of this whole year in the PUBG Players Tour has been Team Mira.
Of course.
They're just constantly performing at the highest level. But you spoke about a couple of those new teams. The points tally on that second half of the leaderboard is actually low enough that you're going, everybody still has a chance, right? So apart from those top 2 or 3 teams, everybody can still get their way into the top 8.
Yeah, especially now that we are back to 10 points for a win. Granted, the rest of the placement points are a little less than we're used to, but it's 10 points for a win, 5 points for second place, and then all the way down to 6 points. 1 point for 6th place. So you can have one really good game, comes with a chicken dinner, good number of kills, and really slingshot yourself up. And with only 8 rounds for this weekend, one good game could really make a lot of difference. But even if you are in the top 8, you want to do your best to get in the top 4, because that's where the prize pool is for this week. And qualifying for Masters, Gibson, is more important. But who's going to say no to a little bit of extra money in their pocket going home as well, right?
Oh, 100%. Look, you play 8 maps over the course of 2 days, and you have a chance of winning $400. Like, it ain't bad. It ain't bad at all. And as we said earlier, you get into the top 4 or the top 8, you've got a chance to win a significant amount more in that upcoming Masters. So as I always say, I'm pretty happy that we have a prize pool for what essentially is a qualifier event.
Right. Exactly. But as we saw on the leaderboard, there are a couple of teams missing. The big teams to note is Mira, but also not in first place, because that's Bestia right now. Bestia have been a bit all over the place. They've been tinkering with their roster a bit, it seems, purely from the outside looking in. I don't have any details, but there have been some moves back and forth. But with mine back on the roster now, playing alongside Flood, aka Silly Mode, it's increased. It seems to have added a level of dynamic ability that we've been missing from them in the past. So Gibson, I don't know about you, but I'm excited to see that continue in the future. But also Mira, the heroes essentially of the PUBG Players Tour. Can they overtake them in first place? Are Furia going to eventually overtake them? Because they've had some good fight moments. There are all these things at the top of the leaderboard that we're super curious about. But Gibson, let's just jump straight into game number 1. No more waiting. Back on Miramar. Not a terrible plane path. It's quite central, but the super north side is going to be quite limited.
Yeah, so if we get a northern shift, it could send everything crazy. I think the one question I kind of have for you, because I wasn't able to watch last night, but have we seen any Kawazine fights up against Team Mira? Because that move to Fury for him got me so excited, because you cannot turn down one of the biggest orgs in the world. But I also was disappointed, because I would have loved to have seen what the Mira roster with Kawazine could have done when we got to PAS.
Right. I mean, hey, listen, Mira are still above Furia. I still think, at least in the Players Tour, Mira have been performing better than Furia. Granted, Furia have, been stepping away for a little bit. They've actually been at global events. Mira can't stay the same. So Mira have been more it seems that they're more hyper-focused on the Players Tour. But look, this is the most Los Leones circle of any Los Leones circle. It could very well hard shift, and we've seen a lot of hard shifts in the Players Tour so far the past couple of weeks, but if this is telling me anything, it's that we're going to end in Los Leones.
Yeah, it looks like it, right? I think circle like this, Los Leones, is probably where you'll see a couple of teams gamble on. I think a few teams will go south as well. The likes of AKA probably will go down by Valle del Mar and into the circle from that southern side. And I think we'll see some races for compounds like this one. Because it's a good compound, right?
No, but why is Lopez chasing? That's completely silly. It's they're in a vehicle. I understand trying to ram them and flip the vehicle, and maybe you can get a vehicle kill from there. But at this point, this is a little problematic. Now Lopez has continued to go into the circle. He's going deeper into the phase 1 play zone, and this is not a bad position to shepherd the rest of the squad in. Exclamation point map, if you guys want to see what I'm talking about, get that on a second monitor, get that on a second screen, and really be able to follow along with the, as we call it, the macro of the teams, which is really important in the early game. It's very hard for us to sort of look at it all that much on the broadcast. But if you really want to study and get better at PUBG, a huge part of that is the early game rotations and macro ability.
I do have one question because you were here yesterday.
Yep, I was.
What happened with Deity? Were they about?
I mean, I don't. Why are you asking me this? I don't know.
I don't know. Speaking of Deity,
wait. How did that?
He hit him with a bike. Did he hit him with a bike? Can we run that back? Can we please see that one more time? We need to see that one more time. We've put the guys under a little bit of pressure, haven't we?
Who's we? I didn't say anything.
I need to see that again. That was...
Ooh, these are some good shots coming out. Deportivo Merlo arriving now. Jimu's gonna go down. This is FN getting really close to Los Leones, but Deportivo Merlo, they have set up shop very, very early on. They had the pick of the litter for where they wanted to pick around Los Leones, and this western edge is one of the stronger sections of the city to hold on to. But the fact that they're favoring the south is a little bit unusual. Usually you see teams favor the north around the road where it enters in. But hey, they're getting a couple of kills, and even though we have higher placement points once again now, that doesn't make early game kills not valuable at all. And with 2 knocks, one of them already confirmed into a full kill, this is looking like a really good approach.
Well, when you have 0 points, every point's a good one, right? As Alir will spray over, almost gets a little bit more damage dealt, but Deportivo Merlo. So I got Deity mixed up. They were the team that lost someone to the bike. That's my bad. I got excited there for a second. But yeah, Deportivo Merlo. We spoke about them before we went on broadcast. Alir is a player we know pretty well. A couple of players we don't know so much, and I can't wait to see what they can do over the course of this day 2 of the Players Cup.
Oh boy. The fact that there's someone already in the mine shaft has got to be frustrating. This isn't a position that you see played all that much, and the fact that Ravenclaw had a setup like this, preparing for the 1 versus 1 also. Lionel get a nice little 2-kill nab for his squad.
DraftKings looks a bit stuck there as we look at the Bronco. Tires missing as he comes under fire from 55 Esports. Psycho, Orenzira, Pipa, and Kerak, the new roster for 55. Obviously, they'll be hoping that this year, or the second half of the year, brings a bit more success than the first. But you know what? Damage Done didn't necessarily get any kills off the back of that one. But I think the main thing for the Bestia fans is that they did not lose anybody in what could have been a dangerous situation.
Flood in a gold vehicle. Everyone's favoring the south side of Los Leones, though this fight is going to be happening on the eastern ridge. And Carlos having already gone down. Nando and Cabex, the last 2 remaining. This sandstorm could give them an opportunity to set up a proper crossfire against Furia. The problem is it's going to be a 2 versus 4, and it looks like Furia know that they're here.
Yeah, Kraken's just creeping up. He's on the tire of the tractor. Kawazine with the Panzer in hand. He's going to clear the other warehouse. They know that Nando is in here. They just want to deal with him as soon as possible. I think this is clever too. Send the player with the Panzer to solo clear the warehouse, while Kraken and Gizera, they keep an eye here, Cammy, on any potential attempted escape from Nando.
Ooh. You say, I mean, Panzers are really good at solo clearing, right? But even still, only having one person clear an entire building by themselves, Panzer or not, gives me a moment of pause. Furia are, in fact, making sure to limit the possibilities of surprise 1v1s. But now they're starting to guess.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm surprised that there's been no pressure. About time that we see someone else peeking in to see, because Kabix wasn't really that interested in helping his teammate for a while.
Yeah. I think they have an opportunity to get even closer before they really look to engage. It's a 2 versus 3. I don't know if D1 are aware of that. Furia also only entered the lobby with 3 members up, and now they are coalescing on Nando's position. I mean, they know that people hide up in the rafters here. So staying safe up there, they're not going to be safe for too long.
Yeah, don't be surprised if they throw some form of utility up on that spot just to test the waters a little bit. Kawazine will switch things over. Decides he wants to use the Oganya Gizera. He'll step up. He may fall at the hands of Nando. He's going to go for the peak. Can he get the flush to secure the point? Deity are on the board.
They got a point. Can they get any more? Panzer goes out and does some massive damage, and the follow-up grenade finishes the job. So even losing one, Gizera should be able to get revived with the blue chip, and trying to look to see. There is one in Impala. It's not quite in the first zone, but what's a little bit of early game blue? Should be able to bring that player back. Everyone else has been surrounding Los Leon as this 4-0 Sweezy, last player standing from this squad.
Aravero, go ahead. My bad.
I don't know. I saw D1 in the kill feed, and I got distracted. I thought more stuff was happening there. But no, there were a couple of teams all down here. NL down to 2. They lost the first 2 against Ravenclaw, looking for revenge.
Fisher will use the audio cue. You can hear Aki sprinting this way. Aki will peek his head up over the ridge line in a few seconds' time, and at that point you'll see some more pressure coming this way, but the smoke wall will begin to dissipate. Elsewhere, Mira might be about to lose one as Fisher continues to do this dance with Lionel, who will toss the stun grenade. That'll semi-blind Fisher. Maybe not as much as he would have wanted here, Cammy, but the second stun goes in and no real impact on Fisher at all.
And the stun goes out. Fisher's not looking the right way, though. Could have caught them off guard, but Farvero is going to be there for the hold. Nice little Panzer nab, but the third-party action is coming on in. Sweezy gets eliminated, so 4-0 go out. 16th place for them, but we were still quite a distance away from placement points. Hitting the leaderboard from this round.
Yeah, top 6 if I'm not wrong. Get points this time around. Still 10 for the winner, 5 for second, but then it's a big jump on down. Aki will step on out. A little bit of damage dealt onto Fisher as he closes the gap. Scar in hand. Fisher will clear up another knock and another flush, so no Lego. Getting a couple of kills on the board with 2 players left alive. That'll be good for them. Now, whether or not they can get players back is a different story, but what about that for a shift? It keeps all Los Leones, but sticks very close to that northern wall of Cantera.
Yeah, I mean, Los Leones was going to be in Phase 2 no matter what, but the fact that everyone was banking on the south side, where the north is the way that Phase 2 goes, is going to be huge. But Bandits, they're not worrying about the zone. They're just going to look to get these 2 kills. They know that NL just cleared out a couple of members. They're hoping maybe for a knock going their way, but regardless, they still have the man advantage. And now HVIT swinging around the side, setting up a crossfire. Could get punished on the pass, but seem to be able to make it to the distant hillside, safe for now.
Yeah, sprinting backwards. Fisher getting pushed a little bit further north of this position, which could be problematic for No Lego, as Faravero will pick up a couple more rounds for that M4. Elsewhere, Psycho from 55 Esports, very close to Deportivo Merlo as things stand. I think he's just inside a camper stack, right on the middle of the O of Los Leones, and he's just holding the angle. As soon as Noran peaks, his teammates should be able to provide the information as to where the members of DM are.
Ooh, a push up, completely unsuspecting the stairwell camp. And now the rest of DM, they're trying to scramble. They're suddenly realizing that their position isn't as solid as they were hoping it would be. Pushing further and further into the north, away from 55, could be going into Bestia territory. Have set themselves up in a nice position, basically center of phase number 1. Still seeing a number of teams take their sweet time to rotate into the zone, Bandits included. Fisher holding on to the side, unable to get a second.
Yeah, Donk mode Andy confirming out that kill. Surprising to see both members of NL deciding to run the Scar. You don't see that all too often. Farvero, though, does eventually switch over to the M4, turning his attention up to the rest of the Bandits. But for Farvero, this could be just a sprint. Get out of there, get out of dodge, continue to move south, maybe find a vehicle elsewhere. And I don't think that Bandits should be too thirsty to try to find this kill. At some point, you got to say, Zone will be closing in. We know that he's fleeing. Do we really want to waste a lot of time for one extra point? Or do we focus on the macro side of things and just get into that next circle?
Honestly, at this point, I wouldn't chase down one player. Farvero is running way far away. Potentially dangerous, though. East side of Los Leones, taking the rocks of that area. Basically trying to hold out the southeast quadrant of phase number 2. Quite a big spread, but I imagine they suspect that a lot of teams have been funneled directly into Los Leones itself. I'm surprised that we haven't seen, and again, exclamation point map to know what I'm talking about. I'm surprised that we haven't seen that many teams move towards the north of Los Leones quite yet. There is a number of unplayable positions around the east side of Los Leones, so I imagine everyone's expecting it to eventually go west, but I don't know. Part of me is a little fearful that the north is still a significant option this early on in the game. Nothing's been quite decided yet.
And for those of you who are fans of Bestia, I'm trying to work out. I think they did eventually get everybody back in place. So I'm trying to think, who else did we have that lost players early that might just have gotten people in that most recent flight path? But my 2-2 split here for Bestia. Furia have got, I think it's everybody nearly back together as well. This is all looking pretty par for the course for this Los Leones circle.
Yeah, at this point, it can't not go Los Leones. The only alternative is if it goes east, southeast around, potentially dangerous, and I don't know how possible that is with the phase 3 to 4 shift. So I think we're basically going to be ending an urban finish no matter what. Andy got a knock there. NIN running around, and this is going to be a very complicated fight on the west side. LFP goes down. So Mira taking some pretty significant losses early on.
Yeah, no import. El Nombre looking to clean that one up on the other side of the circle. Bandits, who we spoke about not too long ago, looking to demobilize AKA. Have got one down in the blue. Trying to did some damage onto Haven as all the members. Oh my god, what the hell just happened? Furia, they've been executed by Bestia.
Mime just happened with the P90, but back into this fight here. No import for El Nombre. Facing off against Mira. They haven't finished the knock that they got, but a great follow-up grenade by no user, no found. It's all onto Fana. Fantastic player, but 1 versus 2. I don't know how easy that's going to be. Take an opportunistic spray on a player crossing the road. Spins around, expects the push, but wasn't able to line it up and clutch that one out. So Team Mira get eliminated very, very early on. It's rare to see them with 0 points, but I think they had like a 1-pointer yesterday, 0-pointer here today. Mira are looking more vulnerable than we're used to.
Yeah, and you know what? For the rest of the lobby, that ain't a bad thing. Inside of Los Leones, 55 Esports are pushing up as Faravelo will get dealt with, and it's AKA that catch him as he rotated in from the south. Pipa will throw some mollies through the smoke, realizing that an attempted res will be brought in, but has there ever been a more perfectly timed sandstorm to get that res in Los Leones off?
They're thanking their lucky stars for that one. Bandits now pushing in from the south. They were able to avoid the trap set by AKA. But now back onto 4 Happy Men's versus 55. Kira with another knock there onto Pippa, and the rest of the forces are moving in. A few low HP bars, and the spray comes out from Psycho. Doesn't get the knock on a JMS, and now they can respond.
Yeah, reposition happening right now, and Nyx will take some damage from afar, but Psycho will throw the nade in, thinking that they might have just stepped inside. Another pin being pulled on another nade, but it's just below us. Delareys will wipe out Pipa, so 55. It's all down to Psycho from this point on. Now, there is a res station not too far away if he wants to recall his teammates back in, and right on cue, a recall will fly over the skyline as a couple of teams will get players back in. And this is the thing, Cammy. On an urban finish, this is not a problem at all because these players will land and get looted so quickly. It's not like what you see in others, more rural finishes.
Yeah, no, the loot might not be the best, but they're going to have something immediately at their feet, essentially. And they can also grab an early position on a rooftop, high ground position. That could be very, very valuable. So yeah, this is one of the better circles, but look, what a peek by Psycho, catching Nyx off guard. Gets the second on the JMS. For Happy Meds are looking like they were able to clean up this fight relatively straightforward. There is There are two players still left standing. One of them available for the revive. One of them covering. But Psycho on the peak and great covering fire by Kira.
Yeah, Psycho now, but if he can get this nade just right, bounces it off the windowsill. Is it going to be bang on the money? I heard footsteps sprinting away. It was just a couple of seconds too late. But 55, only one kill for all the good work that has been done by Psycho. And the big thing is, in this circle, there's room to breathe for this fight. If I'm 4 happy men, you don't need to go full tempo to try and get rid of Psycho because there's no other teams really around that can third party.
JMS, it's BZ. Oh, gets out of there in time. Psycho tried to flush one of those kills with some stacked BZ grenades, but it just didn't quite land. Another smoke goes out. At the very least, Psycho should be able to hide in this cubby if they wanted to. Shotgun at the ready. I think opting into a 1 versus 4 might not be the best play, but you never know what opportunistic kills can come your way.
I'm just waiting to see if they elect to push in. How much do they want that extra point on the... Oh my god, DraftKings just landed that right through the hoop. It gets Onidavon. And now for Nidavon, I think he is going to get dealt with really quickly. But Bestia, I can see, I'm not going to lie, I can see why they're top of the leaderboard in this event with the way they've been playing in the early stages of this game. Well, can I even say early stages? We're 18 minutes in.
Yeah, but still 12 teams alive. I totally get where you're coming from, and I think it's going to stay like this for a while. We all know how long it takes because of urban finishes, because of how many places there are available to hide, how long it can take. Psycho is still trying to deal some damage to 4 happy men's. Nothing's guaranteed. Placer points aren't guaranteed. Certainly not at this position. Again, with 12 teams still alive. Psycho, I think, should be aware that the best chance for points is just going to be kills. No need to rat it out just yet.
Look at the circle here. AKA playing the hills on the south, just keeping an eye on everything that's going on. But Mime with another big nade. Should be able to pick up another point for Bestia. That'll be kill number 4 for them. There's only 2 members of potentially dangerous left standing. And Tony, well, he's way off in the distance. And he's going to want nothing to do with this as Gabri is dealt with by DraftKings. And for Tony, it's mission survive. And we have just gone even deeper into Los Leones now for these final circles.
I don't know if Tony's going for the survival. Tony's going for the send. Quick little headshot by DraftKings. A follow-up P90 doesn't quite find the job. Tony's able to get away with about 10 HP. But where else can they go? Finds the next piece of cover that he knows DraftKings isn't in. And back to Psycho. Finds one onto Kira. So 4 happy men's, despite knowing Psycho was here, still fall prey to them separating.
That smoke's been tossed into the distance. Now, the problem for Psycho is he trying to bait them to think he's going to move earlier. Now, the blue zone will start moving. That needs not quite good enough to do any real damage of note onto Psycho. But you look at JMS. He's holding one window. Nyx is holding the other. Now, it's phase 5. If Psycho's got a jammer pack or a couple of HPs, he could elect to wrap out the backside of the building and maybe, and that's exactly what he's going to do to try catch them by surprise. This could actually be genius, Kami. He's gonna go way out into the blue and rotate that way. Oh, JMS has spotted him, and he's gonna go down. The Blues do it.
Yeah, out there for a while. I think they had a jammer pack, but that could only last so long, especially as you said in phase 5 and beyond. Not a bad attempt. Was able to get a second kill for 55. Before happy men stand true, stand strong. Sam Crow with a Lynx final kill onto Tony. Potentially dangerous get eliminated. And suddenly we are down to 9 teams. But looking at the zone and looking at everyone in the city, I think it might stay this way for a while. Ravenclaw is probably the next team to go down. You can see them on the mini-map. They're likely going to have to cross a big, wide open road. But everyone else, sort of bounding, leapfrogging, building to building. There are paths to paths of survival for essentially everyone here.
Yeah, I think you're bang on the money. Like, don't be surprised if we've got 6, 7 teams left alive through phase 7, 8, just the way these work out. I think, you can't even discount the fact that there is still a recall system inside the circle as well. So there's the opportunity for players to go down and get brought back in if the smoke and cover is good enough. But if you have got the map stream open, it looks like the team with the least amount of traffic in their area is between Zanganos and AKA. Yeah, bang on cue. I feel like for Zanganos, though, the wrong shift could be death for them because you could run directly into Deportivo Merlo, whereas I feel like AKA have got a little bit more to work with.
Right. Yeah, there's that big open field to the south of Zura, and it is going to be a shift away from them. DraftKings silly mode, get another knock and a kill. Up to 6 kills so far. So even though with the difficulty of finding kills this deep into an urban zone, they're still finding all the opportunities to get just that. They understand how important it is to stay active, stay up there, stay proactive from the early game on, and really get those kills from the very beginning.
Yeah, at this point, they're all but secured in through the next day. You know, they're going to qualify this week. Nando, inside the urban finish, going to switch over to that Bolty, maybe getting himself ready for the update that's coming out soon. Their most recent patch notes going to address the damage that DMRs will inflict. Now, here comes the push from 4 happy men. JMS will be the first one to cross. Now, Demostro will hurl that nade off into the distance. Does he have the Tom Brady arm? That's nowhere near, but Zello's shots, they're a lot better. They get the knock on the Knicks.
One knock, but that should be able to get revived. But here's that cross up from the north. Couple of shots coming out from silly mode. Do a little bit of damage. Don't get the knock just yet. Studio Jr. goes down. Bestie are taking so many fights on so many different angles. Ravenclaw get eliminated. All from DraftKings. Final few kills. Now they are up to 8 kills so far. Bestia are on fire. And, you know, they're still nowhere near from being from winning this round. There are so many other teams in their way, and they're not even in the best position, having to use a vehicle to sort of rotate further to get into the zone. But the way that they're playing, the momentum that they have, the confidence that they're playing with, at the very least, they should be collecting at least a few more points, even if they do eventually get eliminated.
Yeah, I think you look at the opportunity for points for some of these other teams because of the environment we're in. All these teams have the chance to pick up maybe 1, 2 kills, so you're not going to have a couple of teams with 7 kills plus getting massive point tallies. I think that other than Bestia, it's going to be a slower spread amongst the lobby. Now, Mime will get a knock onto Fazura. That'll be tossed in as Zello tried to steal it away. But for Zanganos now, they've still got to get one more member across the road. And Deportivo Merlo and Bestia are looking to take advantage.
More grenades come in. Zello's adjusting their position. No, you don't want to be too vulnerable to the south there, but they do have some cover that way. DraftKings goes down. DraftKings gets flushed. The Bestia isn't at full power anymore. Now Vinny goes down too. Bestia's cross is suddenly starting to fall apart.
And they're long-range bullets. Like, that's coming from AKA way down the south side of the circle, getting the nice angle onto Bestia as they cross. So it's just Flood and Mime left alive. And those two, they have a pretty big history of playing together, right? There's definitely going to be, or should at least be, instant chemistry between those two from their time on the Falcons, as we'll see Neziera pushing towards Mime now. Mime, known for being a prime-time player, is going to toss that stun in through the bottom with a blue zone combo. Is he going to be able to deal with Neziera? We'll yet to find out. No, yeah, he will. Easy. P90.
Well adjusted there. I mean, Mime's basically playing on easy mode. Level 3 armor, level 3 helmet, and a P90. What more could you ask for? But it still takes a level of confidence to swing on in. Same thing with Zello, taking the 1 versus 1. Forcing the pre-fire, but still having the confidence to come out on top. 3 kills for Deportivo Merlo. One of the teams that are trying to find their way into the top 8. And with so many teams at the top of the leaderboard having so many of the points, there is room to make major advancements. Even just one single round.
C. DeCarlo still alive for Deity. He's been hanging in there. They got their first point of the weekend earlier on. They'll be looking to find a few more. And oh no, he's going to fall on his own nade. And well, should be a point on the board. And it is for 4 happy men. 4 kills for them. And maybe De La Reyes is going to get caught out as he sprints across. And Zello just couldn't make those shots matter.
Dealt a lot of damage, but couldn't get the final blow. And now with some more covering fire from other members of 4 Happy Men, it's really good to see them play as a pack now. And a nice little peek out from Nando. Final bullet headshot. Gets the drop on the silly mode. Looking to use a grenade to finish the job. I don't know if that one's going to bank in the right direction. Mimes could still go for the revive, but no, playing inside, playing indoors. Yeah, I'm going to use the safety of the compound to get the res and get back up to 2.
Yeah,
Nando's
Nando's
pushing out in the
going for it.
open.
He's right there. Oh, this could be good. He's gonna toss it. It's gonna. Oh no! Oh no! Lando,
Buddy,
run!
buddy.
Run! Oh no! I could see that happening before it happened. You ever just get the feeling?
Yep. All the time. All the time. But hey, Nando is now above them. Still trolling around. Still in mode back to, we'll call it full HP. But actually, it's not shut up. It's full HP. It's a first aid kit. It's the best they can do at the moment. But a Panzer now, if they push them, it's going to be trouble.
As long as they don't push. You know the way you'll see if teams don't have a Panzer? They'll jump 2 players in, so you usually see the first player sprinting and the second one plays the trade game.
Yeah.
You can't do this on the stairs against a Panzer, because if you try that, all 3 players could end up going down.
And what a way to go for Nando if that is the case. Circle does center up. No one is in the center of the zone. Everyone is on the east side. We have a couple of members to the north and to the west. No one's really gone for a power move. Oh, Panzer tries to go out. They baited him with the switch. And now Nando, all he has is 1 M4 left. Waiting for the swing, but the pre-fire with the P90 comes out. 11 kills for Bestia. They are still kicking.
Yeah, the 2 players up in 11, and with the new point system in play, it'll be hard for anyone else other than the team that wins to get more points than what they have on the board. C de Carlos is still alive. No way. We'll start running up to clear that building, but Bestia now with a compound, not quite in the center, but they've got a gatekeep possibility for all the other teams that try to move this way. But a nade from Mime tossed towards the Lear. Is it BZ through? Yeah, he did, but it's not going to bloom enough to get any damage onto a Lear.
Looking for the next target. Program searching. They know where they are. Bestie have been in so many fights. It's not a surprise that they've run out of utility, but man, you gotta wonder how cool would a single frag grenade be here. Spray goes out, doesn't land, gets blocked. Well, that one didn't. Molly right in the face forces Mime to fall away.
Yeah, Mime's going to have to change his ammo here as well, because he's only got limited ammunition left with a P90. I think I saw 20 rounds in reserve. So for him now, he might be best to change things over. Now here comes Zello. You've got Flood just around the corner. They're trying to push up.
Hello? Never suspect behind a wall.
Oh, no.
That's gotta be frustrating.
No.
The revive comes in, so DM are still gonna stay as 2, but what a frustrating way to go out for Zello. And you know that Flood is laughing the entire time.
Flood's always laughing. It doesn't matter what the situation.
Yeah, so you know he's laughing here.
Yeah,
I'm not wrong.
So you're not. You've got a gas can kill, I think, from AKAs. We have that center dot. Still 6 teams left alive as Mine. He's got no ammo left.
The ammo!
Fall. Bestia will fall, and Danny will go down in 5th. So points for them, but it's a 4v2, v2, v1. I think Lear will have to be very quick if he wants to get this res. To see a Panzer on the other side of the road by the bandits, but AKA, they've got so much control inside the circle.
I still don't know where Carlos came from. Just suddenly appeared to completely upset what looked like a great play to come out from Bestia. Pansy goes out. Demaster gets stolen by Yai. It's on to Ali RV. Last member remaining for DM, and the cross is watched. And AKA, they've actually been silently grabbing a whole bunch of kills themselves. 9 for them. And they're in a great position to win this game now. The only team with 4. It's just a couple of solo players remaining. This should be theirs to win.
Yeah, AKA, this is going to be a big win for them. You've got your eyes on the last player, stun grenades in place, you've got mollies being thrown. Yeah, it was a pleasure knowing you, but it's a big win in game number 1 for AKA, also known as your winners of game 1. But still, those 12 kills for Bestia, what a game they put in play.
That was a really good round by them. And this is what I'm saying. Like, Mime's back on the roster. I don't know what happened. Mime seems to be a lot more aggressive now. And that's the Mime that you love to see, that you love to watch. And so him being unleashed. But here's that original. I'll be honest. I thought Ferrero was also parachuting down. And so when that ended up being a run over kill, I was really, really confused.
See, it looked like that to me, and I was like, how did the guy that was parachuting get down? Then it worked out what happened, but you know what? Love to see something like that. It's not often you get a motorbike run over, so we should enjoy it. Psycho, there's that double spray again. Psycho was so unlucky to not get more points out of that fight with 4 happy men than he got.
Man, it's been a while since we've had an urban game. You just know how complicated things get, but I think understanding how chaotic things can be has led teams such as Bestia that we've been seeing a string of their kills now. They just go for it. They understand that you can't kind of play the waiting patient. You can play the strategic game, but it has to be strategically aggressive, because otherwise you're just going to be surrounded further and further by more and more rats in your building. And so taking opportunistic opportunities, I know that sentence doesn't make any sense, but regardless, taking opportunities to get the kills while you can, that's what put them up in second place with overall points. But AKA 11 kills, chicken dinner, 21 points. It's going to be great for them.
Yeah, and what about Deity? 7 kills for them. That'll be 9 points on the board. That should shoot them up from bottom of the leaderboard to at least a lot closer to the top 8. And every team, apart from PD, picking up points on the map. But you look, right, 11 kills, 12 kills for your top 2. Then there's a big drop down to like 5 and 7 and 4 for everybody else, because it kind of played out the way those urban finishes do.
Ooh, and with this game, with Mira pulling in another poor performance in a round, Bestia have extended their lead even further, and AKA are now tied for second place, overtaking Furia, who they went out early as well. There's another gap forming, one between first and second, and then between third and fourth. And that's not even looking at the rest of the lobby, where things do a little more even from there. Not too many large gaps.
I'm looking at 26 points for 8th, and you've got a 4-point gap over 4 happy men's. Like we kind of said at the start of the show that it doesn't matter if you're in the bottom half of the table at the start of the day. There's always opportunity to climb because of how many points the top few teams have gotten. But I'm looking at this, Cammy. There's only 3 maps left to go.
Yeah.
For Nothing and Ravenclaw, and I'd even say NIN. If they don't get things going in this map, you could essentially rule them out of getting into the top 8.
Yeah, those teams at the bottom, it's possible to get to the top 8, but they're going to have to dominate, essentially, the last 3 games. And every team is able to get one good game. It's about stringing them together that's going to be the real test. But just as much, they're going to have to string those games together. We're going to string in a break into this match as we set up Tego. We're going there next. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back.
A collaboration with Espa, and some changes to vehicle camo netting. All this and more as we dive into the update 36.2 patch report. First up, Miramar's getting a visit from the K-pop group Espa. All across the Badlands, you'll find concert venues, decor, and other visuals based on the group. Many other maps have Espa visuals, such as themed care packages and planes as well. There's also an emote stage on the starting island of every 8x8 map for you to perform some of their most iconic tracks, including their latest hit. Next up, vehicle camo netting is seeing a durability improvement and is being added to Rondo and Tago this update as well. The improved durability only applies to bullet damage, and there are still some conditions in which the netting is instantly destroyed, so check out the patch notes for full details. The clan system is also getting some love. There are new ways to show off your achievements, including a new weekly ranking page, along with new clan tag plates. Full details in the patch notes. There's also a new Survivor Pass. Regions with duo mode can now choose one-man duo in normal and ranked. And we've tackled some bugs, so be sure to check out the patch notes for details on everything. Update 36.2 is here, so park the car in a safe spot and get ready to rock out with Espa. We'll see you on the battlegrounds.
Welcome to the PUBG Players Tour. This year, we're introducing structured competitive play in third-person perspective mode for players of all ranks, levels, and ability. Here's how it works in EMEA and Americas. PUBG Players Tour competition is held in 2-week phases. Each week, you and your squad can compete in player scrims. Think of these as a great alternative to ranked play. Each day of scrims will feature a variety of maps, with defined team and lobby sizes to ensure a balanced best-of-3 rounds. Teams will earn points based on their performance, and daily leaderboards will track their progress. When the scrims are over, the top teams will qualify for the PUBG Players Tour Cups, where they will be joined by up to 10 invited teams, featuring some of the best players in the region. Players Cup leaderboards will track team performances across 2 days of play, with the top 8 squads progressing to the final round of competition. Players Masters are the pinnacle of the PUBG Players Tournament. 8 teams from each of the 2 cups will engage in fierce competition for a huge prize pool in each region across the PUBG Players Tour season. And for times when a Players Masters isn't scheduled, you can still get your PUBG Players Tour fix with Super Cups. These work just like Masters events, where again, 16 teams, 8 from each of the 2 previous Players Cups, compete for a share of the total cash prize pool. Welcome to the PUBG Players Tour. You know the game. Be a player.
Waste my time. Don't say I never told you. Go, get out of my mind. I refuse to be a soldier. Waste my time. Don't say I never told you. Go, get out of my mind. I refuse to be a soldier. Waste my time. Don't say I never told you. Go, get out of my mind. I refuse to be a soldier.
Game number 2 beginning now as we turn our attention over to Tego. And this is, of course, the final map in the first half of the night. And as we looked at the leaderboard earlier, Cammy, a lot of these teams were getting into do or die zone for them.
Sorry, when you said like the final map of the first half, I was like, what the gif of the math problems? Like that was me just then. Like why are we overcomplicating things? Just say it's map 2 of 4 or 6 of 8.
Right, though.
You are, but like you're technically correct, but spiritually it's a mess.
It's like it wasn't the most efficient way to do it, Gibson. There's better ways.
It's easier to understand ways. I don't know if this is easy to understand though. A machete's in play. Oranzer's gonna get the knock with the mutant, but like I don't know what it is about Tego. We get hot drops. 55 are coming out on top. It's looking good for them. 1 member of NIN left. But why do we consistently get hot drops on this map? I still don't understand.
It's just always the way, and this recliner compound really is a hotbed of activity. Should be able to clean up the last player. You can see that I'm not even going to try to say that name. I'm going to say Villalba, because my accent would definitely make that sound like we're swearing. So Villalba is going to fall. Pipa picks up that kill. And yeah, the battle for recliners won, and we'll turn our attention, Cammy, to another fight that's happening a little bit further away.
The grenade and CLS swings forward, but DNL's holding the angle. Low on HP, not low on confidence. And now it's going to be Lopez setting up in what looks to be a 1 versus 2 grenade at the ready. DNL does get confirmed. I think HVIT, yeah, I expect the grenade to come on in, so it's going to dodge away from that one. Shotgun at the ready. I don't know how much damage they can do from that range with the jumping shots, but at the very least, informs Lopez that there's a bit of a strong weapon if they wanted to go rush, and it allows bandits to get the revive.
Yeah, Lopez doesn't really have the utility for this fight. One first aid kit, 27 rounds, a 7.62, an LFP rotating on the other side as a third-party potential from Mira is going to occur. And while all that was going on, we have gone and been PUBG'd by the circle. What would you say, 20-25% of this is water? So in reality, you're really cutting this zone down. And yeah, I think for some of these teams, get some points in, because avenues of entry are extremely limited in a circle like this.
Yeah. We've seen this circle quite a bit in the Players Tour, I want to say. But this is really good for AKA, once again, their position to get an early central spot on the hills. We'll see if they can follow up on a win with another great performance. But Lego also in another, what looks to be hot drop situation. Once again, also not in the zone. It's not a full hot drop. They're just finding one isolated member of D1. They're going to go down.
And this is not looking... it's actually not good for a lot of teams in the early stages. You know, you pick up some points for others, but you go down in the first 3 minutes of a game. You've got a long wait now before game number 3 gets underway as we look at Lopez. So it looks like he has gotten at least out of there for now. You can see pressure. Doo-Doo Gladiator, he's got for nothing in his sights, is also known as, fresh off the back of a big victory. Just scout out the compound, but didn't really have the reinforcements he needed, and they'll just go rotate elsewhere.
Yeah, AKA, they're actually hedging their bets towards the south. I don't know if this is because they expected to continue to hard shift down that way, or just because they know that everyone else is going to be coming in on the north and they don't want to get too involved in too many fights too early on. For nothing, though, they get a nice set of crates dropping right around them. There's always a concern that that's going to be potentially a calling card for other teams to come join the party. And now that we're getting towards the end of this cup, for teams that need to make it into the top 8, you know, aggressive, heavy swings might be what's necessary. They still think that Lopez is there.
If he was there and they killed him with the deployable cover, though, that would have been pretty nice as we look. But he's well off into the distance. He has moved his merry way to the bungalows. And for nothing, well, their split is still being tested just a little bit. So they've got a bit of a 2-2. If you want to get the map open, you can do so. And, you know, speaking about exclamation map for the map cam, exclamation mark register in chat if you want to take part in the upcoming next cup. All you got to do is sign in with 3 of your buddies, and as long as everybody's over the age of 16, you're more than able to play.
Yeah, it's a good time. I've always floated the idea of doing it myself. I've never pulled the trigger yet, but we'll see. Maybe in the future.
If we're not working, should we get a caster stack in?
I don't know how many of the other casters you've played with, but that might not be your best idea. Ooh, Gavryu with a nice little swing on a Sweezy. Opportunistic kill there. Looking to finish that one out. Yeah, like for nothing, they had a good position in the circle, but first they got pressured by AK on the south, and now pressured by PD from the north side. They've really let their positioning slip, and they're just kind of getting every single piece of space they have taken away from them bit by bit.
Yeah, well, the 2-2 split's fine, but usually if you're going to play it, you need to have an exit plan. And it didn't really look like they did. So you lose one, potentially dangerous one, now secure this compound for themselves. Now, thankfully for FN, they do still have somewhere else they can rotate to for now, but you ain't getting your player's tag. You're not going to get back up to a 4 unless you rotate really late back into the blue later on in the game. But Deportivo Merlo, they're coming under pressure. They're trying to parachute down here, Cammy. Not quite sure this was their best bet.
Nice little shot together, but no red landed under the nose of Doo-Doo Gladiator. Able to get the trade, able to get a little bit of the exchange. Hoping to try and get the revive onto Mastro, but first it's about securing this compound. Zello with another knock. Huge play coming out of Deportivo Merlo. AKA are looking to arrive the Western forces. But there's only so much they can do now. At this point, you might just want to tuck your tail and leave.
Oh, Miami, you've got so many choices. It was narrowly, you know what I like to say, you're blinded by options. Now, I know DraftKings got it, but it happens all the time when a player's got multiple targets. You switch between the two, but we did lose Zanganos. Zinni is going to arrive now as Nanu will look to help him out. AKA, you've got 2 players up, 1 player down. Alir's going to be around the corner. Alir's going to fall. Oh. Those ones are always funny, right? Because the player on the wall nearly is at a disadvantage sometimes with the way that PPT works.
They might have lost one player, but Deportivo Melo are still holding off the surge of assault. Now, AKA, they only charged in with one. I'm not quite sure what the plan was there. I expected the second follow-up to come immediately after. But a bit scattered, their strategy, it seems.
You know what? Successful, though. You consider the fact that they were dropping into the circle on a compound that was taken. You only lose one player and you pick up a couple of kills.
Oh, yeah, great for DM.
It's best case scenario is Deity will rotate on by.
What headshot was that dealt no damage? Are there multiple people in that vehicle? Okay,
There is, yeah. I saw that too. I was a bit like, And then you realize, no, Deity are just clown carrying it. It's Sekiro will chase them down. The UAS. Oh, is that a Panzer? Right. Go on. Give us the cinematic shot. Oh no! Did the Panzer go through the windows? Because it either went underneath or through the windows out the back. And remember did you see I saw a clip on Twitter a while back where somebody did shoot a Panzer through the side windows of a UAS. It went in one window, went out the other. Yeah, they got a couple more points there, so they're up to 2, so they're on 11. They're not too far away as De Carlos will turn his attention over to NL. They're back in the corner, and yes, you'll have to listen to my sultry tones for a little while longer while we work on getting Cammy back into the cast. Well, as you said, all that was happening inside the blue circle, getting ready for that next shift. And it's going to go down towards hospital, and I've not been fortunate enough to cast too many circles on this section of the map. Potentially dangerous. They're there, and at this point they've called in that e-pickup, but not quite sure if they're going to elect to use it. .55 rotating on by as Bestia look to pick up some more points. 3 on the board already for your lobby toppers, and they want even more. That's 55. Oh, this could be an opportunity. The door's been opened. He's got to get himself going. Mime just quite had hit the shot. And somehow 55 managed to get out of there. I thought they were dead to rights, but Mime could not get it done. 272 damage and 2 kills, though he's still not having the worst game in the world. Vinny, now the next one to take shots at 55, but a good shot from Psycho will put him into cover, but Flood will eventually find the knock. Going to try and get a couple of taps off now. How badly do Bestia want these points? On the edge of the circle, they know that 55 are going to be inside the blue soon, but do you risk it for the biscuit? Mime certainly will. Mostro from Deportivo Merlo. He sees PD coming in. He's all by himself inside of hospital. The rest of the squad a little further away, over by the coastline. As Team Mira begins sneaking this way, they were hoping to maybe pick up some points on the board as well. Vixen. Obviously for Team Mira, they've got a 2-2 split, and why not skin up the vehicles? They'll help you in later game, and you can always do some damage in style as the game moves on as well. Remember, if you do want to see what's going on around the map at all times, or you do have a spare screen, !map will give you access to the map feed. Players falling all around the circle. Pipa will find another kill for 55 as Draft King will go down for Bestia. Is that Cammy back?
I'm back! You thought you got rid of me.
It didn't work. I tried my best.
I know. Listen. I know you have the contacts in the underworld, and you send literal rats to chew through my Ethernet cable. That's not going to work. My defenses were at the ready.
And it wasn't rats. It was a dog. I was trying to get him to plug out your Ethernet cable.
That is a weird-looking dog, then.
Well, hey, there's a dog for everyone, I guess.
It's a dog that looks like a rat is all I can say.
Speaking about people who've had their Ethernet cables pulled out, I remember casting a game where Flood at his, I want to say Roomba, but I don't know if it's, if you're allowed to because it's a brand name, but he had his, robot Hoover, his robot vacuum knocked his Ethernet cable out in the middle of a map once.
Yeah, no, I remember that. Some really silly things happen when you play games over the internet.
I thought you were going to say something silly about having a robot vacuum, but yeah.
I mean, that too.
Playing games online is a fun one as well.
I don't want these clankers anywhere near my house.
That is like one of my favorite words that has been going around the internet lately. I'm a big fan of the word clanker.
So, phase 3, hard shift up to the northeast, takes all the water out of play, and this is... I honestly don't know what I missed, because looking at the game state of this zone, things look a little more convoluted than I probably expected. Still 14 teams alive, but a few already out in the blue this early on in the game.
You can almost play a game of tic-tac-toe on the map feed with the way that some of these pickups are going across the map. Kraken, he's going to spray down HVIT as Furia look to hold their own. He's going to go down, but Bandits are going to lock in. They want to take control of his compound. And for Furia here, Cammy, they're in a 2-2 split, so these two need to hold strong for a little bit longer.
The grenades going out. Zero confirms, and CLS. A little bit of peppering shots from other angles. Furia, they can't rush out and rush Stompboat Andy down. But Sillyboat is going to rush down some T1, but wasn't expecting the alternative angle. Grenade by Vinny. He's looking to take Carlos down, but again, more alternative lines of fire. Make Bestia's job very, very complicated, very difficult. Mime is going to find the angle at far range, and now they can put their attention onto the compound.
Yeah, Deity will lose another 2 players down. Capix the last player standing as Vinny will pop that first aid kit. Went down very low off the back of that blue zone nade. Oh, you gotta be careful because there is now the issue of Ravenclaw moving into position. Cherry Blossom and Aki not too far away. Aki deals a little bit of damage onto Mime, but the nade might just be good as it's tossed the other way. But Mime's better. He'll find a knock of his own. And look, 55 third party. They get the knock onto Aki.
Gonna be Pippa that finds the final shot, but Ravenclaw are eliminated, but not before Cherry Blossoms had a grenade back into Mime's direction. Flood's getting revived. Bestia should be able to get Mime picked up as well. But no, wait a second. D1 are still up and kicking. They could try and deter this. Unlikely. But looking at 55 on the north. Now, other teams coming in from the west. Is a BRDM? BRDM on Tego. Haven't seen that one in a hot minute.
Oh, I thought they were going to go for the run over, but they're going to get out of there. They don't really want to give any opportunity for Bestia to have potentially got a Panzer. But speaking of Panzers, Kerak will use his, and Deity will go down in 13th place. Fisher did run over Vinny, by the way, so looks like they turned back onto this fight. But what has Bestia gone now as well? 55 have found 10 kills.
55, a really good game. They are one of the most hot and cold teams that I think we've had in PUBG Americas. Like, it never stops. They never find a consistent form one way or the other, and this seems to be one of their hot games. Already 10 kills for them, but now Lopez out in the open, forced to take the fight, had no other option but to stick the angle, almost won the 1v1 against Andy. Bandits stay alive for now. 4 kills for them. Quite a bit separated, the two of them. They have space to play with. It's just going to be Furia right in front of them, but now 55. 10 kills on the board already, running into AKA.
Yeah, AKA just parachuted in here. I don't know whether these were fresh players out of a plane or whether it was an e-pickup, but either way, it did not go well at all. Nanu, He's up on the blue edge, watching these teams rotating from the blue, but Psycho not too far away. Circle did shift north for nothing. Have got a great spot in the circle, but remember, they're weak, having been crashed a little while ago. And Team Mira not too far from the center of the circle as well. But let's keep an eye on this one, Cammy, as Nanu will look to deal some damage.
Good shots come out. Good knock onto Karak. RN0 goes down. So even if those two returning players by AKA, if all they did was drop with no loot and give a couple of points back. Oh, oh, what the what? Oh, God. Oh, that's scary. That's frightening. That thing is so quiet.
That was, now he's going to use it for cover.
And it was bait!
Just fine. Honestly, it was genius to use it as cover to try and get the knock on Psycho. But fair play to NL. That was a really nice little bait and switch and trade. They'll pick up another kill on the board. And 55, well, Psycho, you're in a spot of trouble because your teammate's still in the blue and that car does not look like it's going anywhere fast.
9 teams left. 26 alive. I know my method that isn't that great, but there are a couple of weakened teams, you have to imagine, with so few players and so many teams. A lot of duos left in this round, it looks like. Though FN actually up to 3. I thought they were down to 2. I don't know if that came from a respawn or if they only ever lost 1, but oh, that's a Lynx. It pierces through the BRDM. See if that comes factored later on. 55, they are just slamming it in. Trying to find a position in the zone. No Lego answering with grenades. Don't find anything yet.
That airburst found a ton of damage onto Psycho. And if only that was the smoke, it would have dealt even more. Pipa will pull out the Panzer to attempt to hold back this push, but that's a better blue zone as Glock will wipe out Zello. That happened just on the south side of the circle. Deportivo Merlo are eliminated. Now we're just one team away from getting into that placement point window.
For Happy Men's, up against potentially dangerous. High ground advantage for Happy Men's, but not going to be the most advantageous version of that we've seen. Smoke wall comes out by Knight of On to try and escape from this. Blue is going to start closing in. I think Tony is just lying in wait.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm a Tony enjoyer as he sits in this spot now. 40 rounds in the AUG, ready to fire end this way if anybody steps into his POV. Mira, they get a nice little boost off that circle, as do FN. I think, yeah, they did lose 1, but the other player did get back to join the 2-2 to make it a 2-1, or to make it a 3, sorry, at that point. But I'm looking at this circle, Cammy. Everything to the north of Mira's compound is really difficult to play.
Very difficult to play. Furia could take position across that open field and just play into the crossfire, but it looks like they want to go for kills. They're pressuring down towards this PD, and for Happy Men's fight, though, for Happy Men's are looking to be distancing themselves away as well. No one wants to get involved in a fight. How open this entire map is always the risk of third party, but PD now clown carring it forward into the remaining pair of Furia. Smokes go out to limit the angles available for them. Oh no, there's a BZ, but it just didn't make it far enough.
Yeah, that was pretty short. That doesn't get anywhere near the shack. And for PD, it's best case scenario. Now, Posa and Kawazine will look to work in tandem to wipe out their nightmare neighbors next door as Glock takes a ton of damage and will hit the deck inside the circle. Another nade is tossed, but the players inside the shack, it's not going to clear them. And I see it. They're going to see for it. I've seen it in his hands. Furia might just be about to full send it. Or no, or not. They thought about it.
They thought about it. But I don't know if it's worth it just yet. We have a couple of seconds before phase 6. And that could change the opportunities for Posa and Kawazine. Teams have been getting better at the C4.
Yeah.
Spray comes out. And the BRDM is going to follow through. But that Panzerfaust, oh, it hits! Doesn't do that much damage, deals massive damage to the BRDM, but Farfaro still comes out on top! For a moment.
Yeah, 55 dealt with, but for no Lego. The pressure is being sprayed onto this tree by Team Mira. The MG that you hear is coming from inside that compound. They go down in 6th place, and the circle shifts for Mira once more. 4-0. They got to get on the move. PD, their shack still in play. Now the question has to be asked, do Furia risk the C4? It could be an option for them. Or do you wait a little bit longer? Because if you know that 4 Happy Men are to the south, they might just crash onto PD first, and that could be your option to go for the third party at that point. But Posa could be doing it now.
They also need to worry about FN as well, though. FN, I don't know what options they're going to have. I don't know if crashing Mira is going to be the best decision for them. They might also actually want to try and take this position from Furia. As a pair, they really just probably want to play a little more reactive here.
No, they're doing it. They're doing it now. Oh. I keep seeing them switch to it. It's like they're having the debate with each other about whether or not to go for it just yet. But I think that the wise thing to do would be hold. You don't need to do it yet, because... Or no, yeah. Every time I change my mind, Cammy, they do the opposite.
You got to not commit. You just got to not commit. But this would be...
Just don't commit.
This is a very, very straightforward C4 for them. Look, they know that PD are going to be all concentrated. And in fact, ooh, is this going to go far enough? Teams have really... Oh, it's going to miss the tree. This is perfect. Oh, the timing doesn't favor them, though. The trajectory was great. But waited just a bit too long to send it.
Yeah. What it takes, isn't it 15, 14 seconds for it to explode? Like, funny story. At the most recent event at PNC, one of the players turned out that they didn't know how long it took, and that's why they died. They thought it was like 25 seconds.
FN, they're making a play. They're not exactly crashing Mirror, but they are getting within grenade range, and Fakeson lands one right in front of Infinite. And then they're all up in flames. Top 4, Mira, PD. 4 Happy Men's and Furia. Who's going to take the win? We see that Mira are in a heavy advantage in the compound, but it's not done yet.
Yeah, Fury will just stay out of trouble for long. They can peek this. You take a knock. It's fine. You should be able to get res. And thankfully for Posa, only a little bit of damage done to the vest there. Those helmets could be vitally important as we get later and later inside the game. Delays for 4 Happy Men's. See, the thing is, Phase 7 should force them out of position. It should also force PD and maybe even Mira out. But the teams on the edge, they're in a bit of trouble as we get ready. Yeah, another couple of shots from Delays, but you're just trying to create some form of an opening. But this team, 4 Happy Men's can't do anything, Cammy. Because if you full send, you're going to have everybody from Mira spraying your way.
Actually, Mira are expanding out. They're taking the rock that they just cleared FN from. It's a good defensive position to wait for any potential moves by 4 Happy Men's. And with the circle hard shifting to the northwest, they should be prepared for that. Fury, I think, are going to chill. It's really on to 4 Happy Men's and PD, who are going to have to make the next decision on how this game plays out.
Oh, Fakeson. He'll get Kawazine from Fury as he does some damage onto his former teammate.
And then a mortar. And then a mortar, but here comes the push of potentially dangerous. They saw that knock into kill feed. They're going to take advantage of their own from it.
Question is 146 meters short enough of a distance to get to the spot? Potentially dangerous. They're pushing out from the compound now. You'll see the spray, and it didn't quite work. Delays finding that knock. And kill confirmed. Yeah, I think that 146 meters...
It's close.
It needs to be a bit longer.
A little bit, but it's quite close. But Posa, man, what a great defense. Didn't get too many knocks from those sprays, but the damage was enough to stall PD out, and now going to try and go for their revive, especially now the 4 Happy Men's are distracting, potentially dangerous. The Coop rolls on up, LFP gets yet another knock, and now this grenade by Nidavon could ruin this push.
Deals a lot of damage onto both, but not enough onto either, as Tony will find the knock onto Kawazine, who's back on his feet, and Nidavon's been made pay. That nade should be money, and it is. Glock, the last PD player standing, is going to grab himself a nade off his fallen comrade, tosses it over towards Posa. Is it going to be right? It's not quite going to be. what he wanted it to be. But LFP will find the knock, and it's just PD with 1, Mira with 4, and 4 happy Men's with 1 player left, and he's in the blue.
Where Men's are so close to the top 8. If they can get any more kills, it's going to be so valuable here.
He's dead.
Yeah, but there's nothing to
It's
do
over.
at this point. The line, the hold was too strong by Team Mira, and they get a nice 9-kill victory.
19 points. It seems like a Mira victory when I'm on the mic is inevitable at some point. Well, they went out early in game number 1, but it'll help them close that gap onto Bestia, who did find a couple of kills, but went down and out whenever you were off plugging that Ethernet cable back into the wall. But Cammy, that was an interesting start to this one. Hot drop straight off the start.
Multiple hot drops. That's just seems to be the nature of Tago. Another fight down towards the south. We're seeing teams go for more and more dramatic measures here. A couple of crashes out in the blue in phase number 1. Bestia going for a lot of early game action. And then 55 pulling up with a great performance by them. I believe a double-digit kills coming out from this round.
Yeah, didn't quite see if the we didn't have the replay of the Panzer, I don't think, to see if the rocket went right through the UAZ or whether it just missed. But I might see if I can get access to that VOD a little bit later to see if that is what happened. But for Mira, it's another victory. It's points on the board, and those 19 points will get them, as we said, a little bit closer to top spot. But anything else standing out to you as we look at the match leaderboard?
Honestly, not so much. We're seeing a really basically hard line drawn between the haves and the have-nots here. Like, teams that are struggling at the bottom, for the most part, still struggled this game. It's really just the fight for the top 4 positions, and then, of course, the fight for top 8. That is where the tension lies here when we look at the overall leaderboard. Because look, 55 Esports are now 3 points away from getting into the money, and then 4 Happy Men's has now overtaken Bandits to get into the top 8. So even though, like, those are obviously the important bubbles, the fact that that's where the big fights is happening is going to make these final 2 rounds that much more enjoyable.
Yeah, and Mira just 7 points off of top spot, but I think that the key place to look, like you said, is that 7th, 8th, 9th, and maybe 10th, but you can only really count Deportivo Merlo in it if they get a win in the next game, because we obviously, you get less points. There's only 4 maps. It is very hard for these teams to close that gap now with only 2 games left to go.
Yeah, exactly. 2 games left, guys. It's Rondo, and then we're going to be ending once again on Miramar. We're going to go to a short break as we get those 2 rounds set up. We'll be back with Rondo.
Oh my god, we killed them both! Whoa!
He's down.
Oh, hell no.
Yoink.
Tree's still jagged. Go, bro, go, bro. Yeah, this thing's gonna go quick, bro. You gotta go. No way. Oh my god. Yeah.
Oh, what? No way. No freaking way.
Last two games left in this weekend's PUBG Players Cup here at the PPT, PUBG Players Tour Americas. Cameron Davis joined by Gibson, and there is technically a path to the top 8 for every team that is in this lobby, though. The teams at the bottom is going to be really, really difficult. It's basically going to be a string of chicken dinners in a row, but still there can be some major movements there in that middle section, not to mention, of course, the top 4, which is where the prize money in. Reminder, it's about qualifying to Masters 3 in a few more weekends' time. Top 8 will get you there. And with a couple of big heavy hitters missing this weekend, this is probably the best chance that some of these teams have. I'm personally rooting for 4 Happy Men's. Godspeed and I kind of picked them as our bias a couple of weekends ago. The up-and-coming underdogs, we see them get better and better every event that we see them in. And so if they make it to Masters 3, that would be really exciting. But look at this, another hot drop, a 3-team drop.
I'm all about it. Danching the position that we'll see these teams fighting over as the circle will shift. Pazura securing that vehicle and just bringing it a little bit closer to the rest of the team. Takes some damage from Sam Crow. We'll be able to pick up that scar. Sam Crow down to 15 bullets, but I think having not sustained that knock, he's just going to go continue to loot. Maybe, I'd like to see maybe Sam Crow find a helmet. That'd certainly be a lot better than running around without one.
Yeah, but they have an M249. Granted, it's not the extended mag, but this thing, the unofficial, official best weapon in the game. The last time we saw a 3-team drop here in Danching, it didn't really amount to much. All 3 teams kind of just played Fair, played friendly. Ooh! Angle being held. Not going to find anything by Fizera. But that is, I spot Lopez from rogue player from No Way, kind of separated from the rest of the squad. It's going to be difficult for Lopez. And also Nicholas, NCLS, with a swing down on the south. Looking at the minimap here, things could get heated up when either of these two solo players gets discovered and or decides to strike.
Yeah, Lopez is going to hope that it's the situation of the enemy of my enemy as my friend, as he'll hope that anyone pushing towards him will get caught out by the other team. DNL looking a little bit further afield as you see the lineup of weapons. A couple of AUGs, but we got that FJ9 in there off in the distance. I think one thing you'll always spot with these early game fights is so many shotguns and SMGs.
Don't discount the AR, though. It's about knowing the win condition of your weapon and try to set yourself up into a fight that leaves you with the advantage. And that's why Andy's kind of just sitting there watching. Bandits are in the safest position right now. If they wanted to leave, they could just push to the north. Looks like Nicholas did pull back from that southern flank, the southern wrap, and Lopez in the lineup, trying to assist the team down towards the south. Angle is not the best. Can maybe try and find something. Spray comes through, able to get the knock on Fizera. That's huge.
Yeah, that's a big one because Kamish can now close the gap a little bit more. They can start tossing blue zone nades in, but that's a bad situation. Bolo's king up on the top window. He's got 1 HP. He's got to be so careful as they look to stun and peek. Stun and peek, but you know where you can see Kamish gets the knock on an Azera, though, as everything's going from bad to worse for Zanganos. Sam Crow, he's got the shotgun at the ready. He can hear the footsteps, but DNL will clean up that knock, and at some point you should see the third party coming this way.
Yep. Already see the movement. The teal skittles on the minimap. And Viri misses the jump, tries to go back into the fight, but not able to make it work. Zanganos Esports are eliminated. They don't get any kills on their way back to the waiting screen. There's still more teams remaining here. Yayu with an angle onto DNL. Fight's not stopping.
Yeah, I think for Bandits, they would have liked to have seen maybe more damage get done on the No Way before they pushed this fight. But, as you said, DNL is down and out. Shotgun at the ready. S12K. Lopez tried the Panzer him, and he's going to miss. And now the third donk mode. Andy will try to trade it back. But look at that. Lopez is being slippery on with it, but he just can't get around the corner.
Hey, can't get flushed. There's a chance to respond. Andy's still holding the angle. Knows that Sam Crow is there. Sam Crow might be looking to peek into it. Bit of a pre-fire comes out.
7 bullets, by the way.
Yeah, very low there. And NCLS is back on that angle. I think Kamish might be calling it. Out in the open, gonna try and cross. Great timing on the peek by NCLS. And this knock, is able to confirm it, but instantly traded as well.
Yeah, this is getting very bad for both these teams, but there should be a recall system not too far away for the victors. But Sam Crow pushing up behind DNL. Only one bandage left that he can use, and I'm surprised he hasn't used. Yeah, I was about to say, you'd think that he would use it to give himself every possible advantage. Tags coming through. HVIT holding back the push, but donk mode Andy. He's got himself a micro Uzi, and you know as well as I do, at these sort of range, that micro Uzi will shred them.
The waiting game now. Who's going to feel like pushing? Lopez is still alive. That's going to put a bit of a timer on No Way if they cared about getting the revive. But there is a successful revive that comes. Okay, what happened here? Hello.
It was just a revisit. We just joined that fight for a second. We're back at the action.
We'll check in.
You know, we should see what actually we know what Godspeed's doing. He's away. We should have seen what Chunks doing. See if he could be like our pitch side reporter. Like, oh hey Godspeed, what happened over there?
They killed each other.
Thanks Godspeed. Back to the game.
Yeah. Back to Dan Ching.
I'm surprised that Deportivo Merlo, who weren't too far away, didn't surround the city and try to pick up a couple extra points, because these are teams that are trying to get inside that top 8. And I think Sam Crow, he is so lucky that he didn't get knocked there. And look, Donk Mode Andy knows that DNL is still here.
But AKA got a couple of kills from whatever it was that we popped in for a brief moment, but now they're getting taken apart by no Lego.
We're back. Back in dancing.
With the man disadvantage, no way. They are kind of just playing defensive here. They tried to send Sam Crow out on the side. Hopefully they can hold a crossfire. Third camera is going to give both these teams all the information they need. DNL is able to find one. Instantly traded out by Andy, and Sam Crow is not in a position to finish through the rest of the fight. So NCLS should be able to get revived, and at this point, Sam Crow might just want to leave and run away. No blue chips yet. Could choose to stick around and pick those up and try and get a revive. Oh, and AKA are really trying to give it back to NL now. Gladiator goes down. Fisher and Martin able to pick that one up. But it's a 2 versus 2.
I'll have a little look at the map while I was going to see if at some point we do see the attempt at going back to get the blue chips. But elsewhere, as you said, no Lego looking to confirm out some extra kills. Fury and 55 Esports, they're going at it as things stands. RNZ trying to close that gap. Cowzine does not have any utilities to throw just yet, but see that MP5K, the extra limb damage, the high rate of fire could all come into play as Kraken will come around. Kraken might be the one to spot the fact that Peepa's there, and I think he should now know. And maybe you'll just see some pressure from Posa, but RNZ gets a knock.
Good start to the fight. SMGs and frag grenades up close and personal now. Kavazine spotted the grenade being cooked, and it still gets tagged by it. Pippa had the read. Pippa was able to get yet another knock for 55. 55 are looking to overtake Furia's position in the top 4. Looking to get that cash, money. And now it's all down to Kraken. Gizera, a great headshot, though. Looking to try and even things up.
Yeah, that's a great headshot. As you said, the circle goes north up towards Stadium for nothing. Not a bad situation for them to be in on the north. Essentially, mostly all to themselves. They can extend out and take a ton of ground, but I'm looking elsewhere. No way are going to get dealt with. Sam went down to the blue, so no blue chips for him. I was looking, he was searching for meds for a while and he wasn't able to find any.
Revive comes into play for 55. Still up as 4. Gizero's gone down. It's all on to Kraken. Strong player for sure. But a 1 versus 4? That's still going to test any player's skills, any player's abilities, especially 55. Seeming to have a read on... somewhat of a read on where they're playing from. Maybe Kraken could use the element of surprise. P-Sec gets a spray down. They line up for him. Gets the second. Goes for the third.
Oh.
Not so lucky the third time around, but still damage is there.
Yeah.
No team is in a position to third party it, or rather finish what Kraken started. But man, that looks scary even for a brief moment.
Mira are crashing. They saw what happened on the kill feed. They want to get these extra points on the board for themselves. Deity have got Carlos up into the sky, but LFP will toss the first aid. But he should know that if 55 play this the way that they normally would, they will get inside before they attempt to go for these reses. 55 getting bodies back up to the ground, but LFP's quick as they're up, setting them back down once more. Kerak, he's got 1 HP for now. Will get, as you said earlier, back up to as much HP as he possibly can. But Mira, they just timed this to perfection, and I think that 55 are going to struggle to get anything out of this fight.
Van on a cheeky flank here. They're able to read 55's movements. And now here's the footsteps. Knows that they're inside the gymnasium. Psycho is still bleeding out. With a grenade, it's going to be a bit of an exchange. Underhand both sides. And a great drop by Pippa onto Haven. Follow up. through the roof window. It should be looking to try and finish that one out. Fana strikes.
Fana, though. Yeah, Fana had the angle. You talked about that cheeky little flank a while ago when he does make it count, but Deportivo Merlo have got an angle on the other side. Pipa's got to be careful as he's inside the smoke. Another stun grenade has been thrown, trying to bait Pipa out of this position. Fana will put down the shield to give him some form of cover from Deportivo Merlo. But for 55 Esports, the pressure really is on, but Pipa might just fight his way out of it.
Fana gets isolated. Fana gets taken down. Certainly the shots coming at range from both Deportivo Merlo as well as, I think, Mime from Bestia did make this push by Mira suddenly get a little complicated. They've only lost one so far. But Pippa with yet another grenade. That one's not going to hit. That one's going to be better. I lied. Pippa was able to find Haven. How did that bank where it went?
Yeah, there's only one player left standing now. It's Oranzira. That one's perfect, though, and Mira will get back up to a 3. Now, looking for it, there are no real recall systems nearby inside the circle. They might be able to extend towards Bamboo, but to do that, you got to fight through a couple of teams. The only other option is to go to Yulin or Neox Factory. But, Cammy, the issue with doing that is you give up some of the only real good hard cover in the circle.
Yeah, I don't know if I would recommend it. They still have 3. It's still a sizable enough of a team. Speaking of respawn, though, quite a few are going to come in. Let's see where they land. Waiting till the end of the path to drop. Yayi's going towards the north, whereas the revived members of AKA are going down towards the south. Interesting that Yayi's going to the north, though, because their team bandits are coming in from the east side. That might just be information play for them, but D1 now. Once again, loading in S3. I've had a good run of things so far, but they still have a long way to go if they want to try and make it into the top 8. It's possible for them. But they need to get the kills, and they need to start getting it now.
Yeah, they need this win. If they don't get this win with one map left at the end, oh no. Oh, Faravero picks up that kill. That's a freebie there for No Lego. They're holding control of this recall system. They lost Martin a little bit earlier, but maybe they're just going to, I don't know if they've got the blue chip or not, but they've certainly got the ability to bring him back inside. How did Gabri not get spotted there?
I have no clue. It's not exactly camo that they're wearing. Ooh. Maybe spotted that time. There is a bit of a look behind. But Dynavan also arriving. Gabri attacks. Kira also gets a team knock with it. Strikes again. Another knock going the way of BD. This is shutting down 4 Happy Men's. And these are both teams that are in a vulnerable position at the bottom of the top 8. So it can't feel good for 4 Happy Men's to go out like this. Not only losing players, but giving points away to someone that is right next to you on the leaderboard.
That was just messy. Like, straight up, that was just so messy for these 2 teams. PD, though, they'll be the team that benefits from it. 2 kills on the board. Fisher will peek this way as No Lego will maybe try to get another point or 2. 3 for them. At the ready for Fisher. That thing can wreak havoc onto people's vests and helmets and even their lives if you get the right shot on the mark. But, Cammy, I'm looking at it. Bestia are playing in a bit of a split. 2-2. 2 in Bamboo, 2 in the compound just on the edge. And this circle, which one's going to... Because 2 of them are guaranteed to be in the circle. Like, no matter what happens with a split, yeah, perfect.
Yeah, Bamboo is a very strange place to hold. Very strange place to fight in, either from the outside or the inside. There is that rock that's sort of on the eastern, or the south, rather, I should say, part of it that, at least in previous games that we've seen in PUBG Esports, has kind of just been the focus point. Looks like Bestia are grouping up, and now AKA, with the respawn players, are arriving in. How did that Panzer not hit? Blocked by the dirt ridgeline, it seems. Fired just a little bit too short. But no found with the drop shot. Nanu tries to return. Tries to get the trade. hip firing from the ground. Still going to be NI ahead with the knock, but AKA coming out on top. A messy fight, and DM looking to take advantage of the weakened AKA.
Yeah, they got a Deity. They're in a fight with potentially Dangerous here as well as Nightavon. He's got a Panzer ripped and ready. He fires it but only deals 77 damage. D1, like you said, is still in the hunt, but if they want to be fully in it, they need to win this map. Blue zone's being thrown. Tony will pick up another Panzer, but look, it's DM that are third partying from afar. PD down to 3 players standing. They got to turn their attention the other way, as that's a great shot from Gabri onto Zello, but 2 members of AKA wiped now. DM fighting on multiple fronts and causing problems for everybody, it seems, at the moment.
Ooh, Nightavon, a couple of shots from DM forcing them inside. They had the Panzer at the ready, and they expect someone to be in the bathroom. Actually play outside, looking for the angle. He's going to send it on in. Threaded the needle, well found. Now it's all on to Capix once again.
Capix dips back into cover, but only for now, and that'll be a Deity gone, and there will be no, or there should be no, at least, further advancement in this competition for them. For nothing, they're going to abandon MHP to his fate. There's no real way to get him back and alive inside the fight. He is 4 blue, does a lot of damage. And Cammy, I'm looking at the map. Only really 2 teams with any footing whatsoever inside the circle. Everybody else is just skirting the edges.
Skirting the edge and looking to fight, looking to gatekeep the poor souls who are caught out. Blue at their back. Shots coming potentially dangerous. DM were able to clear out AKA. They weren't able to get any knocks and flushes onto PD, and so it left them to a 4 versus 4. Another BRDM play coming out from this squad. Tony's doing the smart thing of just sending shots into that hunk of a vehicle.
Yeah, that's
Whittle
what
it
you
down
gotta
over
do,
time.
right? I think the question is, do they have any repair kits? We know how useful the repair kits can be, not just for the vehicles, but for your helmets and vests. As Bestia get another nice shift for them inside of Bamboo. But I'm looking at potentially dangerous DM Mira. All of these teams now need to move in from the south. Oh, that's a great shot from Jimu onto Faravero. And for, I think, NL, for No Lego, this is the last player standing.
1 up, 1 versus 2. But with Jimu at the rock, playing with third-person perspective, it could be difficult to kind of upset their position. Revive is coming in. I don't think Fisher has any more grenades, or else they'd be flung well over. Fisher does go down. It's actually denied Yvonne to be able to find that angle, so No Lego are eliminated. Is this a blue chip attempt by Mira? This late into the game? Very bold.
I rate it. If it is, I rate it. Like, get a player back in, even if it's just to scout, get them up in the sky and give you the lay of the land. This is the problem with Bamboo that you spoke about a little while ago. It's so hard to see all the way through. It is. I can hear it going off, and you can see it going off, and there's not really much anybody else in the circle can do, Cam, because you crash it, you get shot by everyone else.
4-0. Trying to defend, it gets a push by PD. These are a couple of different rock positions around Bamboo. No one's contesting Bestia's position now. They're just trying to play around the extremities. Trying to make sure that they're not too vulnerable from third-party shots. And now look at Glock, look how close they are. Infinite's gone down. So has Sweezy. It's all into Jimu. Looking to close this one out. Another 1 versus 4 attempt. And now Aki getting pushed by Bandits.
The nade doesn't quite hit his target. The first one, at least, is for nothing, will get eliminated as they were making their way inside the circle. Cherry Blossom from Ravenclaw will dip out around the edge, trying to find an angle. You can see for third person, he spots him over the shoulder, and he does get that knock. Ravenclaw will dip now. The double blue zone needs Aki. He's got no time. He's going to fall at the hands of NCLS as Bandits look to regain a hold inside the top 8. Potentially
DF?
Dev got 10 kills. DM are here as well as Norin is going to get knocked and wiped by Bestia. Glock is caught on the off angle by Zello, and DM, well, for them, Zello's off angle play is massive, but Deportivo Merlo have been eliminated, and now the race is on. PD should have peace to res, but we jump back into this little fight that's been going on for about the last 2 or 3 minutes.
Ravenclaw versus Bandits, and Mira look at the third party. Lionel gets a knock on an NCLS. Desperately wants to confirm that one. Studio Junior is there. Make sure they get that point. First point on the board for them for this round. Aren't that many players left for them to grab those kill points. And the placement points have started to tally up. There's not going to be that many without the win, and another good shot. HFit goes down.
Yeah, this is like one of those fights where both teams have had their ups and both teams have had their downs. Donk mode Andy. He's going to try to get maybe 1 or 2 more kills, but he can't find them. Bandits will fall. We got our top 4. It's a 4v4, v3, v2. Did Fana just land in and get level 3 gear straight off the bat?
Yeah, they did.
Hell yeah.
No grenades, no heals, but a B90 and level 3 helmeted armor. I'll take that loadout. I mean, I won't last long with it, but I'll take it.
Hey, look, I'm not saying there's a perfect situation to be brought back into a game too.
But landing on a crate.
Back in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Get yourself a crate. Get yourself a position. Like Mira, having just won the last game with 4 players back up and level 3 gear, have a wonderful opportunity to double down and really close that gap. But the problem is, the team you're hunting, Bestia, they're in this top 4 as well. And they've got a couple of points of their own from some earlier fights.
Yeah. I don't think this game is going to be the one that gives me the opportunity to overtake them at first. Got to wait for Ergel for that final go of things. PD also now swinging around the south. They just don't want to go into Bamboo proper. Counterclockwise swing. Looks like they're going potentially to Ravenclaw. No, they're going to stop just a little bit short. This place is in the zone. Barely, but in the zone. They can rest here for a moment. Assuming those tires don't get popped, which I think we just saw the beginning of them going down.
Oh, it's rough for them at the south of the circle. Mira will sustain a knock as Haven went for a peek. Flood will catch him out and do a ton of damage. Now the question is Haven resable? I think that LFP is going to attempt to go pick up his teammate little ways away, and he's going to eat a headshot. He's got to be careful he doesn't fall. But for Team Mira, things could get pretty problematic and pretty problematic fast. It looks like PD are making a move as well, by the way.
Yeah, they gotta go more forward. Though they do stop a little bit short, trying to use the coop as cover. Mime's gonna have the angle. Pops Nidavon's feet. And DraftKings is looking to finish the job. Smoke wall comes out, looking to try and make it to that tree. We're at least close enough to toss a frag grenade. And that one looks like it could hit. Oh, just a little bit to the wrong side of that rock.
I think the coop actually blocked the first one because you've seen it land not too far. Oh, Leon, do you have a nade? If Ravenclaw have a nade, now this is as free a couple of kills as you could ever get, or you could just step up over the ridgeline as well. Either way, pick your poison, but Ravenclaw, if you want to get a couple more points on the board, this is as good an opportunity as you could get.
Now this is all DraftKings. DraftKings doesn't want to let any kill go another team's way. Well, he goes out, and now Lionel peaks. Aki with the second shot, and the Nidavon, potentially dangerous, are eliminated. 5 kill points for Ravenclaw. And up to 4 placements now. Coming in from the bottom of the leaderboard. If they could get this chicken dinner, there's a path to the top 8 on Erangel. But I think they need the chicken dinner.
Yeah, they need a chicken dinner, and it's going to be tough when the 2 teams that you need to deal with are the top 2 teams in the lobby. Circle did shift away from Ravenclaw. It's very favorable for Bestia, who keep most of Bamboo inside the circle. And you can tell by how Mira are playing this, they want to use this rock for as long as they possibly can. Maybe get a couple extra kills on the Ravenclaw. There's one opportunity. You got to land another shot, and Fakeson will hit those through the smoke. But for Ravenclaw, they've got enough time to get this res, but that blue is closing, and it's closing pretty quickly.
Another res comes through. More smokes, but man, you have to imagine they should be running low on them. If not now, then eventually. How many more times can they reset this? How much more time do they have to reset this with the blue closing in now? Of course, Mira, they got to focus on not just Ravenclaw. They also need to make sure that they don't get caught out by Bestia. Studio Junior goes down, fakes in once again. This is looking like an almost impossible push for Ravenclaw across the road. Though one of them was able to make it across. Able to make it to the rock previously held by Potentially Dangerous. That could give them some extra loot. Some extra smokes, perhaps.
I'm watching this, so remember, if you're just joining us, even though Fana has level 3 gear, he just dropped in, so he'll need to get some meds off his teammates. Got to get some utility fix, and attempted to step on out and get another kill or two on the board, but isn't going to find it as Vinny will decapitate Lionel with the headshot with the arm. That leaves Aki really is the only player left standing for his team. Aki might just be able to catch out one as well. Good headshot or good shot landed from Vinny. But Vinny took some damage the other way.
Yeah, Bestia doing a good job not to overpush things. A bit unfortunate that this late into the game they only have 4 kills. But they're not throwing the game. They're not giving up the chicken dinner just to pad those points higher. They know they're in the driver's seat here. They know they have a lead on first place. So really it's just about denying Mira as many points as they can.
Yeah, you're bang on with that assessment. And the main thing is, like, Mira, you're looking at this, they're outside the circle here too. They don't really have anywhere to go. You're running through open ground, and as much as I hate to say it, the bamboo can make it very difficult to spot out opponents as they run through it. So everything in favor now for Bestia to get themselves a good one in this game. Ravenclaw's Aki still fighting and brawling to try get an extra point too, but he's outside the circle here as well.
Yeah, so are Mira though. You almost have to imagine that if either of these two teams wanted to win, they would need to team up and look to get a knock or two onto Bestia. But now Aki out in the open. Didn't have much else to do but to make a run for things, and now Mira's at least able to confirm second place. But now Bestia, they need to focus on one smaller angle. They're just going to reset. Yeah, they're going to deny. 3 for 1 there. They're not going to give Bestia any more points. But still, 5-kill win. It's a win nonetheless.
You're either giving Bestia 5 points or 8 there, so you may as well just give them the 5 and move on out of there. So they get themselves 15 points for that win. Mira will still lose a little bit of ground, but it is still up for play for top spot going into that final game. We'll jump back on and to watch the highlights from that game as we have a look at the somewhat elongated battle that we had inside Danqing.
And then, of course, there was also this random crash between AKA and NIN. We had this Danqing fight. Got a little complicated. But then, of course, the Furia versus 55. This is a very exciting fight to watch, especially this Kraken peek out. The Psycho is there to shut things down before they get way too out of hand. And this is when Mira invited themselves to the party and started racking up the kills that they were able to get this round. The thing is, though, we got 1 round left, Gibson. It's all going to end on Erangel. Teams need to start making some really heavy swings. And we've seen a couple this round. But I imagine it's got to pale in comparison. If you're in the bottom 8, there is nothing left to lose. Go for the silliest play you can imagine. If there is the upside, if there is the potential for some explosive moves, give you a bunch of kill points.
Yeah, and remember, we're missing a couple of the top teams in the Americas as well, so it's as good a chance as you might get to qualify for these events. But let's look at the point tally. Mira lose 4 points, so I think the gap should be around 11 between them and Bestia going into that final game. PD with 14 points of their own. But I'm looking at that. 4 teams didn't pick up a single point here on Rondo. Normally you see 1 or 2, but 4 teams without a point and one of them being Furia, that's a hell of a lot.
Yeah, and one of them being 4 Happy Men's as well. Again, they're right on that bubble. We're going to look at the overall leaderboard and see how that stacks up going into our final Erangel. They are back down to 9th. Bandits have now overtaken them again. And it's a 7-point gap now. Bandits got a lot of points in the previous round. 4 Happy Men's are going to have to come out really, really strong if they want to make it into 8th place. Same thing with Deportivo Merlo. Fortunately for 11th and below, mathematically, it's possible, but I'm not going to make any calls there. But and if we put our attention towards the top 4, it's really a 2-horse race for first place, and it's on to Mira to make the big plays.
Yeah, it looks like it was the 11-point gap that I thought Mira got a hunt, but I think that's when they're at their very, very best. Bandits, 4 Happy Mens, no Lego, and Deportivo Merlo, though. Keep an eye on what they're doing because they're trying to secure the final qualification spots. But Cami, I think it's time that we jump into a quick break because there's just one game to go, and it's on when we're right back.
A collaboration with Espa, and some changes to vehicle camo netting. All this and more as we dive into the update 36.2 patch report. First up, Miramar is getting a visit from the K-pop group Espa. All across the Badlands, you'll find concert venues, decor, and other visuals based on the group. Many other maps have Espa visuals, such as themed care packages and planes as well. There's also an emote stage on the starting island of every 8x8 map for you to perform some of their most iconic tracks, including their latest hit. Next up, vehicle camo netting is seeing a durability improvement and is being added to Rondo and Tago this update as well. The improved durability only applies to bullet damage, and there are still some conditions in which the netting is instantly destroyed, so check out the patch notes for full details. The clan system is also getting some love. There are new ways to show off your achievements, including a new weekly ranking page, along with new clan tag plates. Full details in the patch notes. There's also a new Survivor Pass. Regions with duo mode can now choose one-man duo in normal and ranked. And we've tackled some bugs, so be sure to check out the patch notes for details on everything. Update 36.2 is here, so park the car in a safe spot and get ready to rock out with Espa. We'll see you on the battlegrounds.
Welcome to the PUBG Players Tour. This year, we're introducing structured competitive play in third-person perspective mode for players of all ranks, levels, and ability. Here's how it works in EMEA and Americas. PUBG Players Tour competition is held in 2-week phases. Each week, you and your squad can compete in player scrims. Think of these as a great alternative to ranked play. Each day of scrims will feature a variety of maps, with defined team and lobby sizes to ensure a balanced best-of-3 rounds. Teams will earn points based on their performance, and daily leaderboards will track their progress. When the scrims are over, the top teams will qualify for the PUBG Players Tour Cups, where they will be joined by up to 10 invited teams, featuring some of the best players in the region. Players Cup leaderboards will track team performances across 2 days of play, with the top 8 squads progressing to the final round of competition. Players Masters are the pinnacle of the PUBG Players Tournament. 8 teams from each of the 2 cups will engage in fierce competition for a huge prize pool in each region across the PUBG Players Tour season. And for times when a Players Masters isn't scheduled, you can still get your PUBG Players Tour fix with Super Cups. These work just like Masters events, where again, 16 teams, 8 from each of the 2 previous Players Cups, compete for a share of the total cash prize pool. Welcome to the PUBG Players Tour. You know the game. Be a player.
And we are here, the final game of the night, Erangel, to close out this weekend's PUBG Players Tour Cup. Flight path going in from the southeast, making its way to essentially due north, heavily favors those teams with eastern drops. But Cammy, as we said at the end of that last map, 2 things to keep an eye on. One of them is that battle for first. The other one is that battle for the final qualification spot.
Yeah, and that's really looking at for Happy Mens to make the moves. They're going to have to start things early here, and they might be starting by a hot drop in Naya alongside Zhang. Ravenclaw with a big split on their drop. 2 going Stalber, 2 going the scattered compounds to the north of Rozhok. Old school optic drop. And of course, there is towards the south PD and D1 dropping next to each other. Yeah, not nearly as many hot drops, but ooh, what a circle. It's not Sosnovka, but still pretty ugly.
I'm about it. A lot of water. At least without a little bit of Sosnovka, it does mean there's no doubt. We didn't have any hot drops. We do have a early game extension where we will lose 1. And D1, they'll rotate back to each other. I think when you only have 3 players and not 4, you definitely don't want to extend a little too close to a team like potentially. It's third person, fella. How do you crash into a tree in third person?
So I know that we say that because this is a third person event, whatever the observer is on, the player is on. That means third person, they're in third person, first person, they're in first person. We don't see if they're looking at the map. Just, just want to give a little bit of a benefit of a doubt. We don't see if they're looking at the map. That could have been the case there.
But that's why you push N on your keyboard to see the bigger map without going into full map screen.
I feel like I'm the only one that does that. Like the okay, hear me out, guys. In chat, you can roast me if you want. I don't think you're missing that much information when it comes to like a fight by extending your map just a little bit more.
Yeah, I can't argue, but like just do that. Don't go full map when you're driving. It's you know what, they got away with it, but in another game, another circle, another time, it could have went way worse for them. We look towards the north, though, as inside Yaz, we've got a fight over by Mansion as well, NIN, which is not 9 Inch Nails, by the way, just in case anybody was wondering. I, too, thought that the first time I saw this logo. How is Kit, right, nobody from 55 is looking this way. He is oblivious to the fact that Peepa's nearby.
I think 55 are looking. They're waiting. They don't want to give their position up. They got to wait for backup to rotate in. As PD, they're rotating away from the zone. They're continuing to chase D1 down. They're already in a good position on the leaderboard, but they're crashing in. Nando goes down. Carlos is about to follow suit. And it's all 4 members of PD doing this.
Oh, that's unfortunate for D1. Cammy, I'm going to say it. I think they're not qualifying. I'm sorry, I know it's a controversial take, but I don't think D1 are going to make it.
Out from Gibson, yeah. No, I don't think it's going to happen. It was very unlikely to begin with. It would have to have been probably, like a 20-kill victory for them to have a chance. And, I mean, better player than me, more likely player than me to do it solo. I don't think any solo player is going to get that done, not in this lobby.
Hey, sure, we saw it in Nation Cup. There was 43 extra points over a couple of days due to all the multiple recalls. So you never know.
That's
true. You never know. Something that we've not really seen it used an awful. Usually it's NL that are running over people, not themselves. And now, I don't know what happened, but that went very bad very quickly.
Yeah, but hey, Fish is looking to trade. Gets a nice headshot to studio. Sukahiro with another. Under Lionel. Lionel gets confirmed. So they're not going out without a fight. I think Ravenclaw down to 2 now, both on the eastern side, trying to block them access into the zone.
Another point for No Lego there as well. As No Import El Nombre, they spot out the team's rotating pass. That's 55 heading towards the trenches just by prison. A lot of teams going to the center of the circle. Bestia will gatekeep by Multipower. If you do want to keep an eye on what they're doing, exclamation mark map. And we'll just keep an eye on what Nazera is doing, as he will just obliterate Delariz with that barrel from afar. And it's worth pointing out, Cammy, in like the last 12 to 24 months, a lot of players have gone back to like not using 2Xs, not using a spray scope as much. They've gotten way more comfortable with long-range sprays with those 1Xs, so your red dots and your hollows.
Yeah, but hey, look, AKA, they're joining the party and instantly shot through the coop. Kira says no. Kira says back up. Now they have 249. not going to have the same luck the second time around. Zine is there to shut this down, and I think, oh, it's all falling apart for 4 Happy Men's. It looked like they were too scared of taking the fight against Zhang, and now they're caught between Zhang and another arriving squad. Unless something miraculous happens, I think that their top 8 hopes are going to be squashed here.
Suppressed AK though, that's not usually the tech you'll see, as Fazura will go down or get that knock onto Dzine with the Molly. Dudu Gladiator will still try to hold the line as Danshin will be brought back onto his feet, but yeah, suppressed AK, Cammy.
So old school loadout. Hey, they had to go fast. They want to keep the pressure on 4 Happy Men's, and they're keeping the pressure on, aka good shots coming out. Gladiator down to 14 HP. But Tsukuhiro's now arrived. They pulled away from Ravenclaw, or rather Ravenclaw pulled away from NL, and now they're here with a nice little angle to look to third party.
Yeah, third party, as many points as you can get. That's what it's all about. As Sekiro will find that knock from afar. Danshin has been downed. I think that's the second knock, as you can tell by how quickly the HP has fallen. Nanu's ace goes up against Fazura's suppressed AK. That sort of range, he goes down to 4 HP. Dudu Gladiator, the Panzer's fired. Nezera finds one. Dudu Gladiator can't stop, but AKA eliminated in 16th place as Zanganos will pick up a bunch of points. And I think for No Lego, they would have been hoping to see a lot more knocks than that.
Yeah, but look, Farvero got respawned almost immediately. Well-timed by NL. Now they have someone behind enemy lines. It's actually 2 members. 2 from the north, 2 on the east. Keeping Zhang sort of maintained in one little corner of Yasnaya. Bestia now, current first place holders. Just holding their position. No Way is right above them, but there's no real need for No Way to overpeak onto them yet. Yeah, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Red zone only hurts you if you think about it, okay?
Yeah, you only have to worry about it when you have to worry about it. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, exactly.
It's not a problem until it becomes a problem.
Exactly.
Awfully quiet. Is it just me? It's because we just went to that. It just got so quiet in the whole server. I don't see any guns being fired on the minimap. Nobody's really running around making noise. It's gotten really quiet here on Erangel, and the longer this little battle inside Yaz goes on, the more likely you'll see teams like For Nothing. Oh,
DraftKings made it to the top.
I would fall 100%.
Yeah, this position, I think, is even more powerful in third person than it is in first. You can get so much information up here. And it's not like you can't be seen. But who looks up there? Especially at the range that bandits are approaching in from. But No Way is going to peek over. Catches Vinny. Vinny is able to make it inside.
Oh, that was Flood. I timed perfectly with a shot
right
from DraftKings, and I was like, wait, did he bend that bullet through the front window? But no.
Wanted
Flood
style.
will pick up. Yeah, Flood will get that kill, and well, DraftKings can continue to just be a menace from up on high. Cammy, how much worse can it get as we get ready for the shift?
Knowing Erangel on the last match of a tournament, probably 50. It's going to hard shift to Lipovka. That?
It did hard shift.
Yeah, not... That's you know, I'll take that. 50-50. I got that 50% correct. It's awkward in a circle. There's not that much water in it. I mean, there's a lot of water. It's not 50% water, but it's just a very awkward circle to play. Bestia are loving this position, though. They're looking really, really good. It's the teams that are all going to be coming in from the north that stuff's going to get complicated with. NL actually might want to consider leaving. Sorry, I keep cutting you off. I keep having new thoughts about this circle. It's so weird. NL might just want to leave Zong behind just to get to the zone, but God, it's so complicated.
Yeah, I think the thought I always have when I see a circle like this is teams will probably draw a line across the top of that multiplier peninsula and say it surely has to go south of here. So like that Lipovka position's not safe. You know, you'd even argue that where you see Furia rotating through right now in prison, probably not where we're going to go. Like PD don't realize it, But they're rotating into a gold mine of space.
Yeah, NL. They're rotating somewhere. Are they this intent on getting kills against Zhang that they're gonna try and force this fight in Yasnaya? Dude, the blue's gonna start to close in 10 seconds, and I know NL aren't strangers to fighting out in the blue. And, okay, they got a knock on Viri. There's one member on the low side ground. There comes a point that it might be a bit too much, and a good shot coming out from Bolo's King.
Yeah, Nizera. He's going to hold the line. One teammate has fallen, as you said a little while ago, but Zanganos want to get these points. 5 kills on the board for them. Faravero will start to wrap, but inside the blue, you got to get that res onto your teammate fast. They got to start bandaging Surrey, but Fisher is going to attempt to make it as hard as possible, and those shots will certainly make it even harder. Nizera is going to be stalled out. He'll have to pop a first aid kit or a med, but is this need bang on the money? Not quite. Second attempt to go get that res, and this one looks like it'll be a little bit more successful.
Barbaros is letting the res come through. I know they're trying to play safe, but a nice grenade by Martin takes Bolo's King down. The Zero's watching for the push. They expect it to come. And then we're going to check back in on the Lipovka angle. 55 are holding it on, trying to gatekeep Mira out. Fakes an advantage, though they both get the knocks. The hunted become the hunters.
55. Yeah, 55 need the points, right? You got a bit of a gap, 11 points. Get them on the boards.
Here comes the push into the apartments. Rivera confirms Nizera. Tsukihiro is the last one standing. Viri, the recently respawned Viri is coming up huge! And the drop shot, the swing, 1 HP for Brazura! Goes down to the blue, but completely destroys NL's approach. Can Viri even get any revives? I know it's only phase 2, but it's so deep into the blue. It's gonna take so long for them to get into phase 2, and that's even if it's still phase 2, because that's about to shift in a couple seconds more.
Well, there's one of the players dealt with, but remember, it might even be better if some of the players die.
Oh god!
Then you actually just recall them later.
Yeah, but they're not gonna have loot. And look at this circle. Where can you get loot in this zone? Milk to power.
Prison. Prison. You gotta loot in the blue. I think. Yeah, loot in the blue.
Yeah, but then getting out of prison, you gotta go up the north. I don't know. This is a ridiculous end.
It's
PUBG Players Cup.
Damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Well, it's damned if you're 55. Good grenade by Sam Crow. Takes them out in 13th place. Missed opportunity with the first fight against Mira, and it just sort of fell apart from there.
Did we talk about that shift enough, by the way? Because now that line I spoke about from multiplayer should 100% be in effect, because phase 4, of course, center point has to be on dry land. It's the circle that gets rid of all the unplayables. Alir looking to get rid of Kraken to make the rest of this game unplayable. That's exactly what he does. Couple of nice taps. No way. Could be. Yeah, Gabri saw that and he was like, I don't need this negativity in my life. I'm going to get into a bit more cover.
Self-care. That's what the game is all about.
Oh,
Sam
no!
Crow with the roll-up on Vinny. A P90 can't stop that.
That's unfortunate. That is unfortunate.
Mime also goes down. But hey, Gabriel's going to return back to the party. Malish is looking to finish the job. But seeing this in the kill feed should make Mira quite happy. They now have, not a completely open door. There are still a couple of members of Bestia left, but it's at least a bit more open for them to overtake them in points on the leaderboard.
Crash landing here as well, by the looks of it, is potentially dangerous. Want to deal with no way after the back of that crash. Lopez crawling his way inside. You see Kamish got tagged for a lot of damage, by the way. That coming in from FN for nothing, dealing that damage in. But he's with that Draft King should be in that next circle, as should Flood whenever that shift does occur. Mira, you're looking about them. They're on the north. They got to force their way in. And it looks like they might be pushing into FN to pick up some points, but keep an eye on what's still going on. Potentially dangerous. Looking to third party off the back of that fight. One player down, it's Tony. But no way, I think they've reconsolidated and regrouped.
Yeah. And the kill for them. Only 2 on the board at the moment. Get some extra loot, and there's still quite a few phases of the game left for EMEA to look to overtake Bestia. They have a nice little spread position. Fana is naturally the most northern tip of the spear, but look how far away the rest of the teammates are. And now we're looking at the map. Very likely it's going to go down to the south. There could still be a touch of water in play, and here come the respawns. Furia's back in. Zanger back in. It is going to be a hard shift southwest. Shows why No Way and PD were fighting so aggressively for that compound. It's dead center now, as is a grenade by Fakes and dead center on Infinite.
And this is... Zangoros will drop and Milta Power, by the way, as Mira pick up a couple more kills to the tally as For Nothing are dealt with. So 4 kills on the board for them. They needed 11 to close that gap, but that was 11 provided Bestia don't get any more. They've got 1 point of their own. They'll now... Funny enough, they're demobilizing Mira, which will certainly help them a little bit later on, but I think for them, they got to hope that no other kills will be found from the side of those angry pugs.
Or at least, if there are some kills, they can continue to keep that gap barely outside of arm's reach. So many tires destroyed. Listen, Flood, he's a member of the FU Tires community, as I am the proud president of. If you got nothing to shoot at, better be shooting at tires. Yeah, look, instantly gets in. Aben realizes, wait a second, I am not generating any momentum off of this. Has to actually back it up.
He's put himself in a worse position, I think, has he?
I think the top blocks it.
Yeah. You know, look, they've got all their cars. They'll be able to pick everybody up and get on the way. Zanganos, they did get boots on the ground inside Milta while all that was going on, and they'll get looted up for the next phase of this game. DraftKing is just about inside the circle that we spoke about. Mira as well will look to do the same as they set up a fort on the north. Deportivo Merlo, they drop as well, and I think that's just in that little dip. Gabri should get that kill confirmed. Well, it's getting very busy right now. You've got potentially dangerous, No Way, Deportivo Miro, all within utility throwing distance of each other.
I was about to ask, how many more grenades does PD have after the couple of fights that we saw them in? But no, still 4 grenades on the side of Nidavon. No BZs, but grenades should be able to do the trick. You know how to cook them right. So the with an angle gets the knock and a full kill onto D1. 2 kills for them. Only increases the win condition for Mira even more. Now they're looking for 13 points. And honestly, with DraftKings in this position, I think they're going to be able to survive quite a bit longer. We'll see where the next shift goes. We're going to wait 20 seconds for that.
It's really bad for them if this goes west. You've got so much gap to close. Yayi will get a knock onto Noran as Deportivo Merlo are wiped from the server. DraftKings actually picked up another point for Bestia, so almost all the good work that's been done by Mira has essentially nearly been wiped on the other side. So what's that? 3 kills for Bestia, 4 for Mira. So there's a 10-point differential. Remember, it's still 10 points for Chicken Dinner, 5 for second. The top 6 get placement points. But DraftKings will now need to come down. The man from the High Castle will need to get boots on the ground. Where did Bestia go from here? Is it a coastline play?
Yeah, I think the only option is really push into NIN. We're watching Furia on the west. There's a lot more teams coming down this hill, and Miro's going to be looking to block them. 4 versus 4. Potential. Couple of ranged shots coming out from No Way up that hillside.
That was seen as a med kit, by the way. The portable one. Just saw that in the logos as the bandits.
Oh, making a set. They're going into DM's old position.
Here's the Furia push as well. They're going to send it down into the hills, scouting out that building. Nobody to be found. This is actually a nice rock for them to play. Here's the Bestia push. They're going for the bandits. There's 1, there's 2. Bandits pick up the kills, but if you're Mira, a win and you now win. Yeah, that's using the word win twice and both of them meaning separate things, right?
Right? No, it makes sense. Listen, it opens the door, and now they're going to start to go on the push. Fakeson's gone down. They found Gizeri. Oh, Kraken's looking to confirm that. Furia with the send down the hill. They still made sure to spread out a fair bit, not all consolidated in one area. Another good grenade. Grenade actually traded between Haven and members of Furia. Gizeri's getting peppered up. It's a very, very bloody fight here on the hillside. It's all onto Gizera.
Just waiting for the opportunity to spray. Mira will smoke it off, but he knows where he is. Fana will deal a ton of damage. Follows it up with a nade. This could be huge for Team Mira. That nade is going to be stolen away. Gabri picks up the kill, but Mira don't mind because it is pressure removed again. They don't lose any players. They'll be able to move closer to the center circle, and they pick up that placement point. Remember, Bestia got 4 kills in that game. There was an 11-point gap going in. So in reality, Mira need either a lot of kills in second or that first spot. But Kami, getting into the circle is going to be tough.
Yeah,
or getting into like center circle.
Getting kills is going to be tough as well. PD, no way, they're stealing the most of them. They already have 6 though. So the path is still open for them. Getting the revive onto Haven is huge. Staying S3. Oh man, where's this circle going to be? It favors them. They're able to stay behind this rock. I don't know if I would recommend that, but it certainly gives them time to consider their options so you don't have to immediately run down that hill into the waiting arms of No Way and PD.
Yeah, Mira, I think second place. A couple more kills and second place, and they will be fine. Night of On here from PD. 7 kills on the board for them. Right next door to No Way. Have been for the last few phases, but at this point, it looks like the members of the Bandits need to cross the way. Tons of cover being put into place. This is a really rough spot they find themselves in.
A lot of emergency cover flares coming down. Still, though, I'm going to have some smokes to make the full cross without getting completely destroyed. Zone is closing now. Still got to see what NIN do. They're the team that's the most outside of the zone.
See, if I'm NIN, you know there's at least 2-3 teams by those compounds. So, do you make the play towards Mira where there's going to be less traffic? Well, we're going to find out pretty soon. As you said, the blue zone is going to begin closing. Blue chip devices removed, but that's not really going to impact this game at all. So at this point, just got to wait and see.
So yeah, Mira have spread out a little bit. They're just looking for opportunities. Sam Krug gets a knock on Andy. That could be potentially an opening for NIN to try and replicate what Bestia tried but failed to do, of taking this little bit of a dip. It's not much, but it is in the zone. Alternatively, they might just have to crash up into Mira, as you mentioned, or even going all the way into No Way. Oh, that car's going up in flames. A couple more shots. Bandits did get the revive, but really no other ground made in this attempt to cross. But here comes the coup. Here comes NIN.
It's Mira. They're going to crash. They're going to full send it to that rock. No way. They're going to start to hold this push, and that might open the door for potentially dangerous. Fixing, though, from Mira will find that knock and that all-important point. The nade will be tossed over that ridgeline as well. Fixin confirms that one out. The nade goes a little bit too far, but for Villalba, he's still in position. Another 41 damage dealt, but look at Fana. He's just trying to wrap on over another. Oh, that's a good molly. It's a good molly. He's going to have to stand up, does he? Is he going to go down? Another point.
And another placement. 8 kills. 3 points. Just it's like 2 more placements, or even just a couple more kills. Miro might just be able to make this happen. They might just be able to take first place away from Bestia. The Kings of the Players Tour looking to take their rightful throne at the top once again, and the circle is going to help them do that. Look at the shift. away from this compound, away from PD. And I don't know how many more kills Mira are going to have delivered to them, but at the very least, they're going to be able to take care of the survivors. They might actually be able to go for the full chicken dinner here.
Oh, if you're watching this in your bestia, you're like, of course, this is where the zone is going to shift. But Mira,
C4.
Right. If you're going to go down with a bang, because you're going to have to full send it. No, it's one. It's the axle of the car made it look like 2. You're going towards no way as well. He ramps it.
The jump.
He gets it up. He's going to go though. Boom goes the dynamite. No way. Lose 2 and potentially dangerous. They sprint on up, and I think that all of that action, might have just. I think has that just given the win potentially to Mira? Have they now taken top spot?
He double stacked the C4. I can't believe he actually did that. I've never seen a double C4 in my life, and it was absolutely amazing. Got some extra kills at the end for Bandits, even once they were down. But now it's Mira versus PD. Fan has been taken down. The smoke on the body to potentially allow for the revive. But Mira know that PD need to come into their crosshairs. But look how close Haven has gotten. They really want to make sure they get all these kills, and Haven strikes, gets Gabriel down, sets it up into a 2 versus 2.
Yeah, this is Mira now. 9 kills on the board. Potentially dangerous with 8 of their own. One player, as you said, down for each, and Haven finds the knock. There's just one player left standing. Make it a 1v1. Night of On with the shotgun will go to some bodies. What's he going to pick up from that crate? He's got himself a sawn-off shotgun secondary, and he's got the barrel now in the Mini 4. He's going to go for that kill. Mira back up to a 2 though, so that's problematic for Night of On. But Cammy, going back to that, the double C4, I only saw the one red trail. I didn't know you were right. You were bang on the money. Let's see if Night of On, there you go, Mira, they win for the Player Cup. They got it done in the final map.
You thought you could take this away from Team Mira. They've shown that they can go out a round or 2 with very few points. But you gotta wake up on the right side of the bed 3 times over to take their position from the top of our PUBG Players Cup.
Kawazine or no Kawazine, they get it done. There's that Capix picking up some kills. I think for D1, it was nice to see them pick up a couple of kills today. You know, they didn't have the best day yesterday. They were a big old donut. But they got some points today that made things a little better for them. But Cammy, like, the thing is, they got a couple of shifts at the end, right?
Yes.
But Mira worked so hard in that map for every single point. They had to battle their way in from the north. They took on multiple fights. They made the decision to push up onto the mountain. Then they won the battle with Furia, their former comrade Kawazina falling in that fight. But like, Mira earned that win.
Yeah, they did. They you could argue how much work they had to do to earn the win from this round, but go through all the games. And if someone wants to go and make an argument that Mira got gifted more often than others in this weekend's event, I'm willing to take a watch. But they played a really good event, a really good series to earn that first place position.
See, I thought it was like an animation thing, because I only saw the one red line, and I was like, oh, maybe it was only one. But you were bang on the money. It goes off, and then Lopez is like, we're fine. And then it goes off again.
I think Glock had a real big fright there. I'm surprised Glock didn't go down. But here it is. Haven also pushing forward. Not only dealing extra damage to PD, but giving the space for Haven's revive. Mira are just so good in team fights. I don't know what it is. They are able to... It feels like they're able to pull so much out of almost nothing time and time again. And they get themselves 22 final points in the 8th match of the Players Cup.
Yeah, the gap to Bestia was 11. Well, they've gone and done a lot better than that. They got 19 points. They should win by 8. We see that overall leaderboard. But I cannot wait to see Team Mira in PAS quals and PAS. I want to see if they can transition the talent over to that FPP circuit. Now, they lost Kawazine, but they did bring, it was essentially a 1-for-1 trade with Furia. But there you go, 100 points on the dot.
Clean.
And Furia ended up in 8th place, but they were never at risk with a 17-point gap to 9th.
Still, the drop-off of Furia from yesterday into today does give me pause for this team going forward. You want to see Team Mira at PAS? I also want to see if Team Furia can like turn this one around. But don't worry about that. Congratulations to Team Mira. A nice, solid, clean 100 points for the victory. And Bestia, a great tournament for them as well, just a little bit behind. It's a major gap coming down from the top 2 to everyone else below.
Yeah, that's a big old gap, Daddy. They got 12 points on the day, which was better than the 0 that they managed to get yesterday. And we have a look at our first 8 qualified teams. So, of course, some of these teams might just turn up to the Masters or the event next week as well. But, you know, Team Mira, They like to play every single opportunity they get. I think Bandits would do well to do the same as well, to just continue to get better. Because next week, if you haven't joined Cami, ! Register in chat. All those teams at EWC will still not be back in time.
They might be. I'm not going to count them out yet. It's quite possible. But the prize pool overall, Team Mira walk away with $400, Dollary Dues, Bestia with 300, PD with 200, and AKA. Very well done, especially off the back of that one victory that we saw today, walking away with $100 for them.
It's cash money. And a lot of those teams are from South America, so we know that spending power is a lot higher. So we'll look at the overall summary. Mira with 59 kills, Bestia rounding out the damage, but you know that with the players that they have, the way that DraftKings likes to play, they're always going to farm damage. But look at that. An average survival time over 8 maps of 25 minutes. That just goes to show you how consistent this roster is.
Yeah, they're able to get the points in, and it's a little heartbreaking still, though. I see them right in front of me. 4 Happy Men's on the average survival time, but they're nowhere to be seen on the total kills, the total damage, or in the top 8. They're getting better every single time that we watch them. And so I hope that during the next cup, maybe they can finally punch their tickets to the Masters. That'd be really exciting for them. I'm really excited to see. But as far as individual players, Zedek coming out on top with total kills.
Yeah, that's a nice 20 kills from him. And then Flood just farming the damage and the KDA. You know what? It's nice to see Flood playing in the Americas again after that little break. And a KD of 4.6 in a competitive lobby is just insane. Like,
it's pretty good.
You know, I barely managed that in ranked, and pubs never mind in a lobby like this.
Yeah, I think Flood had like a 7? I think after the first 4 matches KDA, but that's like an insane amount. You have to be an absolute monster to maintain that KDA. 4.6 is still very respectable, more than respectable. It's still very, very strong. So yeah, I agree. Definitely good to see Flood back. We've said it before. We're going to say it again. If you guys want to get involved, we have one more cup to get involved in. If you want to qualify for Masters 3, ! Register to join the party, to join the fun. It's like ranked, but even better. You play against better squads. It's better formatted. Everything's just better. It's proper competitive. It's what proper competitive looks like. But without further ado, thank you so much for joining us. We are going to say goodbye. We have another cup coming up next weekend. Join us once again for the action going down there. And yeah, thanks for watching. Congratulations to Team Mira, and good night.